This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Many, Mickey, Fishy!
You are listening to the Voices of Wrestling podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
X out and go listen to some boring podcast where they're afraid of their own shadow. Okay? Don't listen to Joe Lanza, because Joe Lanza's not changing.
And Rich Craich.
I like him. Who delivers this guy in a big spot?
Joe, don't yell at me. I like him.
In the big spot, who delivers better than this guy?
Stop yelling at me. I agree.
All right, welcome once again to the Voice of Wrestling Flagship podcast. I'm Rich Craich alongside, as always, and once again, I should say, the King of Banter, Mr. Joe Lanza. Joe, what's up?
There's so much to talk about.
We've been treading water. I think we've come onto the show the last bunch of weeks and said, okay, well, everybody said there wasn't gonna be anything to talk about. Well, we found it. It's 0-1. It's 2AW. It's we were finding stuff. I was pretty happy with our shows. A lot of people were thrown in the towel, going classic, watching old stuff, and I get it. I understand that, but I think we held strong. We got as much stuff as we could. We watched some promotions we've never delved into too much on the show. We talked about topics that we maybe have never talked about before. But goddamn, if this isn't just this is every week we've had for the last 5 years, basically, at this point. In a good way, I mean, where it's just fucking loaded with stuff to talk about. It's unbelievable, everything that happened in the last week.
No, wait, we're back now. New Japan's back, so forget it. It's unless there's a awful second wave which completely shuts down society for a second time, then this is it. We're back with packed weeks and figuring out what we're going to cut from the show. But the COVID era is over, baby. It's over. But
COVID is solved. We're good. It's good.
That's it. The COVID era is over. But yeah, I mean, what do we have? 2 months worth of COVID shows or something like that?
Right around there. Yeah, right around that.
I don't think there was a single week where we were like struggling to fill the time. There was that 1 week where you were a little concerned. You're like, what the fuck are we going to talk about? But I don't remember what week it was, but then, some shit happened. The bottom line is there's always news, and thankfully there was always Big Japan to fall back on because nothing was stopping them. And now
they got
Japan...
us, credit to Big Japan. They got us through the early wave. We kind of fell off on Big Japan in the later wave, but those first few weeks, they were clutch. They came up real strong for those few weeks there where Big Japan was it was a lot of Daichi Hashimoto, and I don't want to go back to it, but I mean, credit to them. They kept us pretty strong there for the first big wave.
Yeah, for sure. So, look, some of these topics might not make the cut moving forward. We'll see. But, I mean, it's a full slate. We got a shit ton of big-time WWE news. We've got to touch on TakeOver. If you want a full match-by-match breakdown of TakeOver in your house, that's available on the $10 tier because we did the instant reaction live on that. So we're not going to do a full match-by-match. Thank God we don't have to, because we definitely wouldn't have time.
No, God, yeah. Thank God for that instant reaction, for sure.
Those take up about an hour when we do them on the flagship. Go a little longer with the instant reactions, but there wouldn't have been time. And then we got to preview Backlash, because the greatest match ever is going to happen.
I know. People are really downplaying this, but in a few days, the greatest wrestling match ever is going to happen. And I feel like people aren't talking enough about it, but we are going to talk about it, Joe.
New Japan is back, so we got to take a look at the New Japan Cup and some of the things that they're doing. Independent wrestling's coming back, so we'll see if we have time to get to it. We'll talk about the lineups that Game Changer rolled out, and then there's a bunch of Japan topics that we can touch on. What the stuff going on in all Japan that we've kind of been overlooking on the flagship. We're going to try to get to that. This is a 0-1 and 2AW podcast now, so we've got to talk about the two shows that dropped from those two companies, and then the Dragon Gate had the King of Gate final too. But how much longer do you think this will be a 0-1 and 2AW podcast? This could be it, huh?
Okay. I don't want to, though. That's the thing is one thing I have enjoyed over these last few weeks is delving into some, companies that we haven't talked about. It's like, financially, it's a disaster to talk about 0-1 and 2AW. And we always tell you guys that. If we really cared that much about quitting our jobs and doing this thing full time, in no way, shape, or form would we ever talk about 2AW. We would just review Raw, review SmackDown, talk about WWE, talk about Sasha Banks tweets. Like, that's the shit we would do if we really wanted to make money on this thing. Clearly, we want to make, a little bit of money, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling, but not enough where, like, I still want to talk about those promotions at some time. So I think we should keep at least one eye on those at bat. I mean, maybe don't watch everything. Like, I just watched the 2AW main event from the last few days. I know you watched some 0-1 stuff. I think I don't want to completely let 0-1 and 2AW go. Is that okay? Like, I like them, and I think we should keep them.
I've been into them. The issue is going to be time.
Right.
Because with no New Japan all of this time, I mean, let's face it, that freed up like an hour of every show. Because we'd probably spend a good hour on New Japan anytime there was a show happening, anytime there was a preview or a review to do, and there would have been news that whole time. So it's not because, I just want to kick those promotions aside. It just becomes an issue of time. So we'll see. I mean, it'll go week by week, but it's this week it looks like there's just news coming out of everywhere, and maybe it just feels like a more packed show because we haven't had one.
Right. I'm not used to this anymore, but I think we used to have this every week. It's just now it's like, oh my God, there's news. New Japan's here. WWE's doing shit again. Like it feels like a show from June 2019, but it's here in June 2020. But we've had in March and April and the first half of June that felt like we were really just like, hey, let's talk about whatever the hell we can. Whereas, yeah, now we're kind of back to where we've been for a while. But let's just get right into this here because I think this is again loaded show. People always think on these loaded shows, oh my God, you guys are not going to have time to get. We do pretty good on the loaded shows. I think we don't bullshit about Hot Pockets as much on the loaded shows as we do on the shows where there's not as much. But I want to get to this right away because I think this is a very, very interesting topic. Unless you want to banter about Hot Pockets, then you may absolutely do that.
I don't want to banter about Hot Pockets. I did want to say very quickly, you would not let me do audio last week. I was still going to do it. You very intelligently, and you made the right call, told me to sit it out both here and behind the paywall because my dog had died that day.
Right.
But I just wanted to say, and I didn't want to do this behind the paywall. I wanted to say it on the Flagship where everybody could hear it. I didn't really respond to many people at all, but it was pretty overwhelming the amount of messages I got. Text messages, Twitter DMs, behind the paywall, the Patreon messages. I mean, I got hundreds of messages, just, condolences and telling me to hang in there and everything. And I mean, that was overwhelming and unexpected. So I just wanted to say to everyone at the same time, thank you for that. And, it was just totally unexpected to get that big of an overwhelming, wave of support from everyone, over a dog that none of you ever met or, so it just, it really, it hit me where it matters to get all those messages from everybody. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. And, it was peaceful. She died peacefully and just how I wanted it to happen. I didn't want her to die on a cold vet table. And
especially in this era too, where it's like, can we kind of, we can't all see her. No, only one person could see her, or no, nobody could see her. Yeah. It's like, it's awful. Yeah. Awful.
So she died in her bed, in her home, quietly in her sleep. Can't ask for anything better than that. So, I just wanted to thank everybody, and we can talk about some wrestling now. All right. So, and everything's going well. Everyone's transitioning as well as they can, without her in the house. No, I mean, when it's coming, it's a little easier, right? So you prepare like the kids and everything, and there's just one little moment where I came into the room and the girl had her tablet, and I said, "What are you doing?" And this was during the dog, one of the final days. And I said, "What are you doing with your tablet?" And she goes, "Oh, Daddy, I'm taking some pictures of Lexi so you can remember her." Oh, jeez, man. I just lost it, and I lost it instantly, and she's 4 years old, and to just be that thoughtful, and she's in there taking pictures on her tablet, and that blew me away. But yeah, let's let's do some wrestling.
All right, let's get to it here. So the big story I think that we're going to lead off here is Paul Heyman. So this is a tweet that WWE sent out yesterday as of this recording. It says, quote, "In an effort to streamline our creative writing process for television, we have consolidated both teams from Raw and SmackDown into one group led by Bruce Pritchard. Paul Heyman will concentrate on his role as an in-ring performer." So that was the tweet that was sent out. We got a little bit more clarity in the Wrestling Observer this week as well. I'll kind of just quickly read that. There's a ton of details in there, but I'm just kind of read the big picture stuff here. So this is this week's Wrestling Observer, June 15th, 2020 Wrestling Observer. Quote, "The continued decline in WWE ratings have led to a change at press time as Bruce Pritchard would take over as full creative head under Vince McMahon starting immediately, and Paul Heyman, at least in theory, will return to just being a television performer." Heyman was working with dual contracts, a performer's contract and an employee management contract, the latter of which was terminated on 6/11. So it is said by those close to the situation that once COVID-19 started, that McMahon's mentality changed about everything. Previously, the mentality was all about the future. The XFL was a long-term play. Raw under Heyman was a long-term play. Expanding NXT into Europe and Japan and opening other markets under Paul Levesque was a long-term play. Now the mentality is to worry about what you have and think about the now, even though the company is going to be more profitable this year and next than probably any other time in its existence. So what did you make of the news when you heard Paul Heyman out as far as Raw? This is about almost 1 year to the date that Paul Heyman was installed as, I forget the title, executive producer of Raw, and Eric Bischoff was it was sometime in June 2019. I'm almost positive that was, and yeah, Eric Bischoff was going to be the executive producer or whatever the hell of SmackDown. Almost a year to the date, Paul Heyman out. Bruce Pritchard, who took over for Eric Bischoff on the SmackDown side, now consolidating power, and he is in charge of both Raw and SmackDown creative, underneath the guidance, of course, of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I mean, well, he lasted a lot longer than Bischoff, but it's not unexpected. It's every few years, McMahon will give some power to Heyman and put him in charge of something. And outside of the, SmackDown 6 era, it's never a significant run. I mean, this one, just under a year, just about a year.
Yeah, just around a year.
So it's not unexpected. Plus, I mean, the ratings obviously are terrible. But what's funny is, to me, the SmackDown rating situation is worse than
Raw.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they're on fucking Fox. Like, I'm honestly stunned each week when the SmackDown ratings come out. I don't know if it's because they come out on the weekend or they come out at a weird time. I am stunned that more people don't focus on the fact that this show's on fucking Fox and it's getting like barely better than Raw ratings. Like, that is inexcusable, right?
The SmackDown started with what? Over 4 million viewers weekly.
Yes, correct.
And they were winning the demo every week, doing about a 0.9, 0.8. And I understand, the COVID has taken a bite out of everybody. I get it. But you look at the SmackDown ratings now, and this past week, they're below 2 million. They did like 1.7 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at it. This is all off memory. And they're down to like a 0.4, 0.5 in the demo. And they're barely winning the 18 to 49 against rerun season on the networks. And why that is important is the value in the Fox deal, as we've been talking about all along, was that they would clean up in the summer against reruns. Right. The advantage of WWE programming is there's no downtime and there's no off season.
Right. It's live sports that never has an off season, which is fantastic to networks.
Correct. So the theory being, okay, maybe we won't dominate against Hawaii 5-0, which is now canceled, but maybe we won't dominate against Hawaii 5-0 or wherever the fuck else is going up against us in the winter, but we'll still be competitive and we'll still do well. And then in the summer, we're going to clean up and we're going to get all of our value when all of the other networks are running reruns. Now we're in rerun season and they're struggling to beat the reruns in all of the key demos on the SmackDown side, and they're under 2 million. So to me, SmackDown has taken a bigger hit and is doing worse than Raw. Raw still has weeks where they're like top 5 all 3 hours. Not every week. And don't get me wrong, Raw's doing terrible. I mean, they're hitting all-time lows like every week. Nearly every week, it's a new all-time low. But to me, the drop has been more precipitous on the SmackDown side, and to me, it's a more vital drop because it's Fox, and Fox is going to be less patient with them than cable. So it's interesting to me that the line the company's given out to people like Meltzer is that it's ratings driven, when you could argue that Bruce Pritchard is doing worse
right
in the COVID era than Heyman is. And here's the other thing. Paul Heyman was doing exactly what he was told. When they gave him the job, they told him, we need to improve with young people. We need to improve with women, and in particular with young women. Those are the groups we're losing. And a lot of these storylines that he had come up with, you know, all the cuck storylines and all this other offbeat stuff, okay, which people like us were dunking on, in some cases were connecting with those audiences before COVID. Okay, they were drawing younger viewers. They were drawing women. And that's what he was chasing. And the other thing was Heyman, from the start, was going to push new people, whether it was, you could run right down the line with whether it was Liv Morgan, he tried Cedric Alexander, he tried Ricochet for a while. You know all the names on that side. Austin Theory.
Yeah, Andrade is one. Apollo Crews is a new one. Obviously, we'll talk about it when we talk about Backlash. But I think, you could definitely say McIntyre felt kind of like one of Paul's dudes,
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's a whole bunch of them. And his stated thing was like, look, it's going to take at least 18 months to get these people over. But we've got to start getting new faces over, because we have to start building towards the future. And that's been Heyman's MO forever. He always has an eye on the future.
Right. Yeah. And I do want to clarify one thing real quick, because I did see a lot of people, and we were discussing it on Twitter and whatnot, saying like, oh, well, you guys just like anything that's good you think Heyman did and everything that's bad Vince did or whatever. And it's not that at all. It's after you've watched this guy's product like literally almost your entire life since what, 1993 and 1994, you've been consuming Paul Heyman related products, and you know what Paul Heyman does. You know what has his fingerprints and what doesn't. Not all of it lands. Like you said, the cuck stuff we thought was fucking terrible, but there was a reason why he did it, and it's not for us, but it was for certain people. But I have seen a lot of people saying, oh, well, you just think that, Paul wanted to push those guys and not like, no, look at the playbook. Look at what that guy has done in his history. It's very clear who is a Paul Heyman guy, what is sort of his sort of stories. Yeah, maybe we're not hitting 100%. Maybe there are some things that he had no hand in that just sort of happened. But like, I think we got a pretty damn good guess of what Paul Heyman's, booking and style looks like after seeing ECW, after seeing SmackDown, after seeing, what he's done on Raw. It's not that, like we know what we're talking about here. We're pretty smart people. We can put two and two together. So I just wanted to clarify that real quick, because I did see a lot of people be like, how do you know what Paul Heyman did and what did Vince do and all that sort of stuff? And no, we don't know exactly 100% who did what or whatever, but I mean, you can fucking tell that, Andrade, Drew McIntyre, that sort of stuff feels like a Paul Heyman thing, because like you said, it's always been his MO to build for the future, build those future stars, build that next generation, worry about what's coming up, down the pipeline. So yeah, that's I just wanted to clarify that real quick.
It's always very simple to see Paul Heyman's fingerprints. They're the most obvious fingerprints in the world. And look, obviously, yes, Vince has the final say, and I'm sure this wasn't just Paul Heyman with free reign. In fact, I know it wasn't. And, in the beginning, the idea was Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are going to have free reign because Vince is going to be busy with the XFL. Vince is getting older. Of course, that didn't last, and we knew it wouldn't. We talked about it at the time.
It didn't last through the conference call. It was all conference call driven, and we don't know that this isn't either as well. But yeah, no, it's clear at the time last year. Go listen to our show last year. We said it. This is A, going to not last. B, it's just kind of paper titles for the most part. For Bischoff, it was. For Heyman, it wasn't. And I was kind of surprised by that. He did actually have some power there and did have some pull. It definitely appeared. The Bischoff stuff, you could tell there was nothing different about SmackDown when Eric Bischoff took over. Nothing.
No, but and obviously Vince has the final say on everything. But there's obvious Paul Heyman fingerprints here, and there's directives that he did get through, and the things he said he was going to do, we saw play out. I mean, there was an honest effort put in to pushing new people, and because of COVID, we don't really know if they're over or not. I mean, it's tricky because you don't have live crowds. That's your first indicator. Your second indicator is the ratings. But with the COVID, it makes it tricky. Mm-hmm. Okay. We suspect no one is mega over because the ratings continue to slide, but it's hard to tell entirely. But even so, I think they were expecting a bit of a drop back because, again, it takes 18 months or more, and he barely got 12 months to get these new people over. And you're working against the tide a lot of the time with Vince because he changes his mind on people.
Right. I mean, look at Cedric and Ricochet, where they were 8 months ago to compare to where they are today. I mean, it's night and day. I mean, there was obviously a plan in place to build those guys up to a certain level, and then, seemingly, in an instant, it's cut off, and now they're just dudes on main event. So
half the people we named had the rug pulled out from under them, and I'm sure in some of those cases that was Vince losing patience for whatever Vince reason he had. There may have been other cases where Heyman decided this, but that's not really his MO. He usually has a long-term plan and then sticks to it and sees it out.
Right,
and
for better or for worse, he will usually stick with something for as long as he can.
The way that some of these plugs were pulled, it's just studying his booking patterns. So no, I'm not saying that, you're giving 100% credit to all the new ideas, but you can't give him 100% blame either because, ultimately Vince is making the final call and everything. But there were obvious Paul Heyman fingerprints.
Right.
Raw, there were things on Raw, just, slipping in profanity and, doing the overtly sexual stuff. I mean, it's Paul Heyman stuff, and it's like, I don't love everything he does. In the big picture, I would put Paul Heyman in charge of my wrestling show tomorrow with no worries. He used to be my number one draft pick in that regard. He's not anymore, but he'd be my number two. The only person I'd put in charge of a television show today before Paul Heyman would be Tony Khan. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. But I would put Paul Heyman second. And I still think I would trust him to run a successful television show. But he didn't have enough time to execute this plan, and COVID threw everything out of whack. But to get back to the question you asked me 20 minutes ago, am I surprised? Of course I'm not surprised.
No.
How can you be surprised that Vince McMahon gets impatient with anybody? So no. In the longest-winded answer of all time, I am not surprised Rich Kraetsch that they got rid of.
Right. So I think the interesting news here, in a lot of ways, too, consolidating the power of both writing teams, so both writing teams get combined. I have no idea how many people are on the writing team right now, probably way more than you need, of course, way more than you need, and I just love the idea that the second in command is Bruce Pritchard. So
well, here's the thing. We just talked about it. Like, Bruce Pritchard has sunk SmackDown worse than Raw was sunk with Heyman. So it's like, now he's in charge of both shows.
Yeah. He just added 3 hours to his plate there, which, again, he's not a young man either. I'm sure. I wonder what that sounded like when he said, hey, pal, you're in charge of Raw now, pal. It's so like, oh,
he's
great.
Not a young man. He's not a young man, and he's not doing a good job.
Right, and he's bad at his job. But well,
I mean, I see people going,
we think he's bad at his job. Sorry, we think he's bad at his job, but there's one man who probably doesn't. It doesn't matter what we think. There's one man, and that's the thing that Bruce Pritchard has always been able to do, is he can write to one guy, the audience of one that we always hear from everybody that's ever worked there, that says it doesn't matter what your idea is, your long-term plan, you can bring a binder to the thing, you can say, here's what I want to do. All you have to do at the end of the day is have one man say, I like it. Go for it. That's all the job is. It's not about, I'm going to boost this rating, I'm going to build this guy, I'm going to do it. It's about one man saying, yeah, it's a good idea, pal. And saying, go with it that week.
Yeah.
You fight a war every single week to get your one idea through, and then you go back to war next week and hope that your one idea gets through again to the one guy.
And there's no question that Pritchard knows how to play the game better,
Sure.
and he's easier for Vince to work with. Vince is going to run into resistance with Paul. Paul Heyman is a stubborn guy, and he has his ways. And occasionally, now look, he's a great politician too, and I'm sure he has his own ways of massaging Vince. But there's no question that Vince has a much easier time dealing with Pritchard, who, as you said, has known how to appeal to the audience of one for decades at this point. Now, it's interesting because we got a little inside information through somebody in the room, okay? And the take from inside the company is a little different than the take that they're feeding to the newsletters and whatnot, and that it wasn't necessarily all ratings related. Okay, so some of the things that were talked about was, and tell me if this sounds like Paul Heyman.
I was going to say, when you read this, that what Joe's going to talk about, it's exactly the same reaction that I had. I was like, well, yeah, we knew this stuff since 1989 about Paul Heyman. Like, you know what I mean? But read it, and I'll go, because I have a point about this as well. But yeah, read it real quick and see. Yeah, surprising takes on Paul Heyman here.
Here's some of the issues outside of what you're hearing about ratings being the cause. Issues with top talent. Well, obviously, if he's pushing a bevy of new people, they've got to replace someone. So I could easily see some of the top talent having issues with Heyman because he's all about replacing the old and getting in the new. There were issues. A lot of the departments in the company had issues with him. Now, does that sound like Paul Heyman to you? Having trouble dealing with
Yes.
paper pushers and, well, the web division needs this and marketing needs this. That's not Paul. Paul Heyman wants to sit down with a napkin and write a wrestling show. So that totally makes sense. There were said to be, this one's interesting, and it just has Heyman written all over it. A lack of cohesion between Raw and SmackDown, meaning that, and specifically noting that Heyman would keep things secret from the other side, and almost like Raw was in competition with SmackDown, as opposed to everybody needing to be on the same page. Right. What do you make of that one?
I mean, again, 1989 Paul Heyman rallying your troops against, a foe that you've decided is that's Paul Heyman to a T. When he was at ECW, it was that WCW is trying to kill us and take us out of business. When he was on SmackDown, he was literally instructed to say, hey, fight Raw and act like you're fighting Raw. And that's what he did. So yeah, again, Paul Heyman to a T, exactly what he would have done.
Blowing off corporate.
Oh, God, yes. Are you kidding? Of course.
And then, continued issues with, top talent trying to get his ear. There were problems with top talent attempting to get his ear too, which, again, I mean, he still doesn't want to deal with that. He wants to write his wrestling show and have a plan to build his stars. And you can totally see, I mean, that's all the stuff he's always been terrible with.
Yeah. Oh, again, like I was going to say, since 1989, we've known Paul Heyman is a guy that wrestlers, undercard, lower card wrestlers love. The little engines that could, they love him because he's the rallier. You know what I mean? He's the guy. And colleagues hate him. Executives hate him. Corporate suits hate him. And that's fine. That's always been, Paul Heyman has always been a wrestler's producer, booker, whatever the hell you want to say. He has always been on their side, usually, like you said, the smaller guys, the little engines that could, the people that the land of misfit toys. Like that has always been his MO. Corporate suits, marketing managers, stockholders, Stephanie McMahon, chief branding officers, not so much. Yeah, that's never been exactly Paul Heyman's forte is dealing with those sort of people. But wrestlers, and I think there was an SI report, actually. I just saw it as we were starting this recording that SI, I forget, I don't know who the author was, I'm sorry. I clicked out of the article, but they said they were able to talk to about 10 people on the Raw roster, and they all said that they wish he had been around so they could at least still kind of bounce ideas off him, or he could critique their matches or talk about him. And again, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, those people, if you're a wrestler, you love Paul Heyman because he is your dude, man. You know what I mean? Like, he is going to fight to death for you.
What's notable about that is, though, that's probably all the people he was pushing and was behind.
Potentially, yeah.
And they know that's bad news for them because Pritchard's going to come in and push the same old again. And it was noted to us that where he had trouble with talent was the top talent. And again, that's probably because he was flipping everything around and replacing them. So that doesn't surprise me at all, those SI quotes, because those are probably from that laundry list of talent that we ran off before that he had gotten behind. And a lot of those people, that was the first time the company ever got behind them. And, it's, who knows what would have happened without COVID. I personally feel like Raw was on a free fall that wasn't going to stop. I think there's just bigger problems than who's writing the show. Because ultimately, I don't think whoever's writing the show will have enough influence to overcome the big picture problems in the company.
Right.
And that's just a Vince thing. And until he changes his ways or dies, that's what's never going away. And in reality, it really doesn't matter who's working right underneath him because it's going to get filtered through him. And at best you're going to get a filtered vision of what you want to do. And what that company needs very badly, as we've discussed about ad nauseum, is a complete teardown and restart of what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they need. And that's not going to come when the guy is, how old is Vince? 73 or?
Yeah, somewhere around there. He's definitely, 73, 74, I want to say. But yeah, let me get the exact date there.
He's not
74.
74. Yeah, so he's a guy going into his mid-70s.
75 in August. 75 in August, man. Wow, jeez.
He's fucking old.
Do you know any 74-year-olds? Like, imagine knowing a 74-year-old. He's not changing. That 74-year-old dude you know is not changing for shit.
No, and yeah, he'll be knocking on the door of 80 soon. So, you think he's going to dramatically change what he? No, I mean, you're going to get a filtered version. So, look, if nothing else, Raw was different. I mean, I didn't love it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was watching
stunk. Raw stunk. SmackDown stunk, but Raw stunk a little less. I'll say for sure.
At least he tried different shit. Like Garrett Kidney talks about this all the time, and you talk about it all the time. How it's the same half dozen guys who have been running pro wrestling for the last 2 decades, and Heyman's one of them. But here's the thing: at least you can say this about Heyman. He always has different and new ideas. He's not trying to recreate ECW every time he takes a job. Where some of these other guys just keep doing the same shit that stopped working 20 years ago. So if there's one thing you could say about the old guard that keeps getting these jobs, is if I have to pick one of those guys, I'm picking him.
Absolutely. No, and I think Heyman has said as such as well, that he never wants to, and we talked about it in the show as well, Heyman is always worried about what's next. What's the next thing? And anytime you listen to him talk, about, things that he wanted to do in other companies and whatnot. And again, like, it's always easier to say, hey, this is what I was gonna do, without actually doing it. But like, he never wants to go back to what he did before and just do that again. He's always said, okay, if I took over TNA, I wanted it to be, an MMA, style promotion.
That was the new ECW. The new.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I'm mixing the two up.
Yeah, so the ECW reboot was introduce it with the nostalgia, because the nostalgia is going to get everybody in the door, and then slowly turn it into leaning towards realism and MMA, because that's when Ultimate Fighter was hot. And UFC was on the come up, and that was the hot new thing, and he wanted to get ahead of that. So the idea was introduce it with the nostalgia, and then bring in CM Punk, who was doing that Muay Thai gimmick at the time. Yeah. Bring in Kurt Angle, who they just moved to the brand, and he had that great squash against the Brooklyn Brawler in the Manhattan Center. Remember that, where he just headbutt him in the head, and mouthpiece Kurt Angle, and Santino Marella, but not as a comedy guy. He wanted to call up Santino Marella because he's got legitimate credentials, and Kozlov, I think, was going to be one of the guys. So he wanted to lean ECW into the new MMA direction after the nostalgia predictably would run its course, because that's what happens. People get hot for the nostalgia, but then it's like, it's still fucking just incredible. It's still the Sandman, and so it would, with TNA, the big idea that the one idea that came out was at his very first show, he was going to put the Young Bucks and the Motor City Machine Guns.
That's right. Yeah.
In the ring, cold open, go for a half hour and do whatever you want. Just have the best match possible. Again, forward thinking. And then eventually, and I think what he told Dixie Carter was, I will retain maybe one
he
of
said
your
one.
wrestlers.
Yeah, I remember the exact quote. I think it was, I will keep, what was it? So, simple formula. Keep one solid veteran, and I'm going to grow the young, talented roster underneath him.
Yeah. So again, it's always been his MO, And I really believe if ECW would have survived beyond, 2001, that it would have evolved into something similar to Ring of Honor.
Sure.
Because where that level of rest. And he was
going there. He was already going there. You look at those last few ECW shows, and the talent, they're not like the guy, they're not the guys that would be the Ring of Honor thing, but you watch those shows, and that's clear his idea is fast, good in-ring, work. Because you had your Christian Yorks and those sort of guys. They weren't good. They weren't like good enough, but he had the right idea. It was there. You could tell it was on the way there.
he just didn't have the horses, and he had his eye on. This is on record. He had his eye on Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels and Low-Key.
CM Punk. He said CM Punk in ECW. I know. I think him, and there was also Bob Mould who was in WCW as a writer for a long time, and he said he had his eye on CM Punk as well. And him and Heyman were talking about it once before, and Heyman, even seeing this guy at 20 years old or 21 years old just doing shit indies in Chicago, knew that this guy was something. I mean, yeah, way ahead of his time for sure.
Yeah, so that's the direction that would have went, and so he's always thinking forward and looking for what the next thing is. And the one thing he's very good at is attaching himself to young wrestlers who he knows are going to be big. He did it with Punk. He attached himself to Punk. He attached himself to Brock Lesnar. He attaches himself to Shayna Baszler. The word is he has attached himself to Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era. He is very savvy in terms of the talent that he attaches himself to, because if he becomes a vital, important part of those top stars' act, or even as a confidant, then he is no longer expendable. And that's part of his brilliance. How can they get rid of him if Brock says, well, if Paul's gone, I'm never coming back. It's like if he's attached to all of the top acts, either on screen or off, it makes him all the more or less expendable. So that's another thing. And he look, say what you want about him. Raw did stink, and he has a lot of flaws, and he's a conniver. We all know that, and he's a hustler. Heyman hustle. He even plays off of that.
Right.
But the one thing about him is he is very, very smart with identifying top line talent.
Yeah, and he loves wrestling. I think that's the thing I've always really, really enjoyed about Paul Heyman, is when it comes down to it, the dude just fucking loves pro wrestling. You know what I mean? And just he loves projects. He loves the next big thing. He loves what's down the line, what's next, what can I do to innovate, what can I do that's different, and that stuff. I mean, man, I'll always love that stuff. So he's always gonna have a place in my heart, because I know that dude just fucking loves pro wrestling and wants nothing more than a pro wrestling to be great and be awesome and entertaining to everybody.
I would love to see him get an unfiltered shot at running a brand in that company, but it's never going to happen, and it didn't happen here. So he's out, but they've got to keep him on as talent. If they have any interest in keeping Brock around, you have to keep him around. They really don't have a choice in the matter, because I don't think Brock would perform without Heyman.
Oh no, that's the guy who, and without being backstage, we don't know, but like Heyman's the guy that gets Brock what he, you know what I mean, like Brock can get what he wants because he's Brock, but I think he has Heyman be the mouthpiece of, no, this is what we think Brock should do, or this is what Brock's going to do. Brock shows up, cashes the check, does his thing, but yeah, Heyman's the one playing the strings in between everything and really deciding where that's going to go for sure. So no, I think
Heyman's the one making sure Brock stays on top.
Right, exactly. Brock will show up after Heyman has said, okay, here's what you're going to do, Brock. You're going to go in there and you're going to beat this guy in 20 minutes, in 10 minutes. All right, good,
and
bye.
More importantly, he's in Brock's ear and he tells Brock what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't do that. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Tell them you're not working with that guy. Tell them you're not losing to that guy. Because Heyman could always see 3 steps ahead. And he knows who's a threat to those top spots. And quite honestly, if he is the manager of the top act, he's part of the top act. So it's self-preservation as well. Heyman gets a lot of shit, behind the scenes and on dark Twitter, people we talk to, for being this manipulator and keeping Brock on top. But what you have to remember is he's part of that act.
Yeah.
Why would he not do everything in his power to keep himself on top? I mean, that's his paycheck too. It's no different than Jim Cornette being part of the Midnight Express act, or any other manager, on-screen manager and on-screen talent relationship historically. Bobby Heenan with Nick Bockwinkel. Bobby Heenan's getting main event money. Okay? Cornette gets paid what the Midnights get paid because he's a third member of that act. I'm talking good managers, not when they throw whoever, the coach John Tolos with somebody. That doesn't matter. I'm talking about big-time managers, like we're talking about here, Hall of Fame level managers who add something to an act. Heyman's talent, and he's a top act too. So I understand why he manipulates behind the scenes. I can't kill him for that. That's
fucking wrestling, man. That's pro wrestling 101. You got to do that shit.
They all do that, and sometimes it's dirty, and sometimes it's sleazy. But it's everybody wants to stay on top. All the top guys hated him because they weren't on top anymore.
Right.
I mean, that's just the way it goes. And now he's out, and Pritchard's going to come in. and he'll probably start pushing some of the older faces again.
Yeah, just the idea of you know, and you mentioned that Garrett always talks about it, and I've been talking about it for years. It's just that the same names, the same faces, the same 15 people have been running wrestling. Hell, it's not even 15, but 10 people have been running wrestling for 2 decades. And again, we're right back
10
to...
is high. I think
yeah,
10 is high.
Honestly,
I mean,
it's fucking... Yeah, we could count it in our heads, you know, in terms of stuff. And yeah, you get a few guys that pop up here and there, but now the next wave is just like guys that wrote for WWE in their mid-2000s. And even those guys are starting to get filtered through. Your Krista Josephs and your, you know, Court Bauer types and those sort of guys. And even Dave Lagana, you know, who's doing stuff in NWA is I don't really want to add him to that same list, but yeah, I mean, it's there. I mean, he's been, you know, writing wrestling and being a big part of wrestling companies, whether it be Ring of Honor, Impact, you know, NWA, WWE for you know, 2 decades now at this point as well.
Those 3 guys you named are the next wave. They were the next wave of guys. You know, they're not the Heyman, Pritchard, Russo generation.
Right, exactly.
But they're the ones that came after, and now, you know, they're doing things. Well, DeJoseph just got canned.
Yeah, again. I was gonna say, what we're doing things, not necessarily anymore.
But he was with Lucha Underground and all that, and you know, obviously, MLW and NWA have you know, that next wave of guys in charge. But yeah, that wave that we're talking about, I mean, they've been around since they were running wrestling companies in the 90s. These people, you know, whether it's Heyman or Pritchard or Russo, Vince, you know. So, you know, Scott D'Amore is another one who, you know, you want to put him on that second wave.
Yeah, he's starting to get to that second wave.
How many tenures has he had in Impact? You know, Don Callis is a fresh voice. You know, he just came into real power running a company with Impact a few years ago.
Right, he had disappeared for almost 15 years. I mean, nobody even knew what the hell the guy was doing, so yeah.
Dave Sapolsky's been around for ages. You know, obviously Triple H was there as a wrestler forever. You know, you can go right down the line, the whole McMahon family. I'm just trying to think. I guess you know, Delirious and Marty Scurll. He's a fresh voice, and we talked about that when they hired Marty Scurll. That okay, this is a guy who is totally thinking out in left field, a fresh voice. AEW, you know, they're all brand new, every one of them. You know, Tony Khan obviously is in charge, and he's the head booker. He's the Vince. I mean, it all ultimately falls on him.
Right.
But everybody in that room is new to leadership and writing wrestling stories. Yeah, and some have worked out and some haven't, and it's hard to kind of decipher. But at the same time, we know the fingerprints of all those guys too, and we know that they're driving their own stories at minimum. So, and we're kind of getting a feel for what Tony Khan brings to the table in terms of his booking style and his booking rhythms and those things. And so to be fair, there are some new voices in the fold. There are.
Sure.
It's a mix, but with WWE, really they're the problem in terms of not letting anyone new break through, and always going back to Bischoff is another one we forgot about.
Yeah, right,
obviously. Right. You know, and they're the problem. They never let the fresh voice in. No. And look what happened the last time they did. Look how fresh and different NXT felt in its first 4 or 5 years when they had a new vision.
Yeah, Ryan Ward and a few other guys, you know, sort of at the helm. Yeah,
you know, but now, you know, I think Triple H has gotten long in the tooth down there.
Oh, for sure. Well, and I think we can actually talk about that as well. You know, that was, you know, it's a little bit of a different topic, but now that you bring the name up, I mean, this was at this time last year, and even Vin, you know, even Dave wrote it in the Observer there, is that the idea was, you know, Paul Levesque is doing this, and that's a long-term play or whatever. I mean, over the last, God, not even, you don't have to go 6 months, over the last 3 months, the reconsolidation of power towards Vince guys and the lack of consolidation of power by, you know, Paul and Triple H is, I mean, look at it, man. His main, you know, his handpicked producer, the producer, I forget the guy's name, but there was, you know, the spiritual successor to Kevin Dunn, fucking gone, launched. Half of Triple H's, you know, little circle guys furloughed, gone, bye. You know, Triple H gets a job change. It's not a demotion. I just have way less duties now, but no, it's not a demotion. It's just a job change, you know, like that too. I mean, it's clear Vince reconsolidating power. Okay, you guys have all had your little chance. I'm going back to what I believe, what I want, and I'm bringing my guy back, and it's him and it's Bruce Pritchard. So you fucking bring Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe back, and we're back to 1997, baby. You know what I mean? It's back to the same thing. It's again, he's 74. You know, you go to your comfort zone. You go to your you know, he's probably, you go to your chair. You know, old people have chairs. They sit in the same fucking chair every day. That's their chair. Vince, you know, he's going back to his chair. He wants Kevin Dunn, he wants Bruce Pritchard, and he wants the familiar voices to talk to. He doesn't want new, different things, new, different people. Back to the old, you know, for the most part.
You know what's sad, though, is he has people under his employ. He can bring Adam Pearce, Sanjay Dutt, and Gabe Sapolsky, and just fucking whoever else into a room and interview them and pick two of those guys to run Raw and SmackDown for fresh vision and I mean, you could do that with people that already work for you. You don't even have to go outside and find people. They're right there under your nose, you know? And it's like, they're younger, they have more energy, they're going to have different ideas, but
they watch other wrestling, they know about other wrestling. That's the thing about Bruce is like, I mean, let's be honest. What the hell does Bruce know about?
No, exactly.
No shit.
You know,
he watches all the Attitude Era bullshit with Conrad, and you know, he didn't watch shit when he was going. I mean, whenever pressed about MLW or Impact when he was bouncing over there, he didn't know anything. He didn't follow anything. He's no better than Bischoff in that sense.
No, I completely agree.
He doesn't know Japan. He doesn't know the Indies. He doesn't know Europe. He doesn't know Australia. You think he knows anything about fucking Australian wrestling? The next big thing in Australian wrestling? Do you think he knows what Progress did? And the stories that he doesn't know anything about any of that. Nothing.
He knows nothing. He knows what appeals to Vince.
Yeah, bring like you said, bring Jim Smallman, Gabe Sapolsky, Sanjay Dutt, and Adam Pearce there and say, all right, guys, here you go. Here's Raw. You know, 4 brand new voices. They can all say, hey, well, in Progress, I did this and it got over. Okay, yeah, well, in Evolve, I did this. Or, oh, yeah, in Impact, we did this. Or, hey, in Ring of Honor, we did. No, it's a guy who knows Attitude Era bullshit and 90s WWF because that's where he's been. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Progress guys that work for them now, too. And it's like, these are people with their fingers on the pulse. And these are people who came up with the current generation of stars because they wrestled them in some cases. Adam Pearce and Sanjay Dutt are intimately familiar with who got over on the indies, who can go, who can't go, what people are good at, what people aren't good at. Both of them have worked behind the scenes in multiple companies. Adam Pearce booked Ring of Honor. Sanjay Dutt worked for Impact for years. And we're just throwing names out there.
Yeah, I'm not even saying we just picked 4 names off the top of our head. I mean, there's a bunch of other dudes there that all have really good skills.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if they'd be good or bad at the job, but the point is no one does. I mean, interview them, see what kind of ideas they have, and that would be something fresh. Those would be new voices. And you see, I mean, Adam Pearce, you know, I mean, he does what he can with 205 Live, but what can you really do with that show? It's 25 minutes a week. They took the fucking title off of the show. I mean, what can you do? I mean, there's only so much you can do with a show like that. But it's never going to happen. It's again, until this man, passes away, the big picture things are never going to change, and you're never going to see these new voices. And Triple H was the hope because he was building a team. But like you said, a lot of that team has been splintered off, furloughed, fired. Himself, he took a demotion himself. So
no, it's a job change, Joe. It's a job change where I do nothing with management anymore. It's totally different. I'm focusing more on the production of the show and not the management of the show. But that's not a demotion, right? If you stopped being a manager and started going back and working in the restaurant, that's not a demotion, Joe. You just wanted to focus more on the what's going on inside of the restaurant. So.
Yeah, I mean, so it's what can you say? Yeah. I mean, Bruce Pritchard. Yeah, I wouldn't let Bruce Pritchard run my wrestling show. If I'm starting a company, he wouldn't be anywhere near it. I mean, there's nothing fresh or innovative or good. I mean, his ideas are all old and stale, and he doesn't have his finger on the pulse. I listened to his podcast. He's basically he's a bullshitter too, and he's a hustler, but he never had and does not have the vision that Paul Heyman had. So you have all of the negatives, but none of the positives of Bruce Pritchard because he's completely full of shit. I mean, it's very obvious. But ultimately, though, as I said at the top, it really does not matter because Vince is going to filter all of it, and Vince has just lost the plot. He has lost the plot. He does not know what it takes to make stars anymore. We talked about it behind the paywall briefly. even people close to him are like, Vince is making decisions that none of us understand and just don't even make sense from a Vince point of view. Like he just doesn't. He's just, it's just bad.
Right. He used to have a little bit of a playbook, but now people are kind of saying that like you have no clue. You walk into the room and it could be literally change on a dime, change on a minute. Yeah, there's no predicting it anymore. And it shows through in the television. I mean, there's no cohesion. Nothing.
Yeah. No, it's just the star building is the worst part. I mean, and that's a company-wide thing. I mean, that's, I think, one of the bad habits that they've picked up in NXT. I mean, you've got Damian Priest going on TV this week saying he doesn't care that he lost.
How ridiculous is that? How fucking ridiculous is that?
And talking about how it was all about the moment and how he's gonna.
I saw that. I could feel your blood boiling. It got hot, in my living room as I was watching that, knowing how much your blood was boiling with Damian Priest being like, "It's cool, bro. I made a moment."
Yeah, I'm gonna be immortal now. I'm gonna live forever because I lost to Finn Balor. Like he was honored
to lose.
Now Finn Balor's a nice little wrestler, and he's a decent little star.
It's not Masawa, you know. You didn't lose to Masawa there, Chief. You didn't lose to Kobashi.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you didn't lose to The Rock. Right. Okay, let's reel it in a little. And it was a little mid-card match on a fanless takeover. It wasn't this enormous moment that they're making it out to be. But it's like, it trickles all the way down to NXT in that regard. I mean, who can forget when Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock went on Raw and talked about how they didn't care that they lost and they were just proud to have a moment.
Titles come and go. But the famous Roman Reigns line after he got screwed out of the title. Look, titles come and go. But it's like, oh, God.
Because you know what? They do now.
Yeah,
and
right.
that's why none of these people can break through as true top guys, because you're presenting them in a way where, look, when you have Road Dogg screaming at people on Twitter that wins and losses don't matter, what do you think they're saying in the room? It's the same message. They've decided that stuff doesn't matter, and it's just about creating star aura. The problem is that is a proven failure now. It isn't working. This moment shit is not working. You know what a great moment is? Two guys who hate each other in a compelling fight, and one wins and moves on and gets over. That's a moment. Not, it was my looking into the distance saying how proud you were to lose to Finn Balor because you created a moment. That wasn't even like some super memorable match. I mean, they're doing this down card now. They're not even just doing it at the top. So it's just a huge systematic problem in the company. It's not about these individual writers for the shows. It's the top guy. But we all know that.
Let's talk about another little thing here with WWE and kind of the backstage here. Also from the Wrestling Observer this week, we heard some rumblings about this earlier in the week as well. It says, quote, "There has been a lot of talk in recent weeks regarding the future of Evolve and WWE. It's not a secret. Evolve has had major financial issues, and the canceling of WrestleMania week was catastrophic to them. They've been quiet, having not said anything. The reports of them selling their tape library and pretty much everything to WWE, but when asked, neither Evolve nor WWE would confirm or deny the story." So, Joe, what have we been hearing about this rumor, and do we know anything else that maybe Dave hasn't said so far or hasn't reported thus far? But as far as he knows, rumblings that they have sold to WWE, but nothing has been confirmed yet, nor as the time of this recording either.
If it's neither confirmed or denied by either side, then it's true. Then there's smoke to the fire. And they're just not talking about it for whatever reason. The two theories I've seen, there's multiple theories going around. Number one, that WrestleMania weekend completely wiped them out, losing WrestleMania weekend, and was a huge financial blow, and that WWN actually went bankrupt, and that WWE isn't purchasing the company per se, but rather purchasing the assets. That's the one theory I've heard, which would be slightly different than writing Gabe Sapolsky and Sal a check. Okay, the other theory I've heard is that they were under a similar deal as Progress and WXW, in that WWE had the right to swoop in at any time and purchase the company for X amount of dollars, for an unknown amount of money, and that WWE is exercising that clause now. That's the other, but these are just theories and none of them are confirmed.
Correct.
But these are both theories I've heard from people inside wrestling. So there's a lot of different speculation going around, but it definitely looks like there's at least some smoke to the fire. Now, the other thing is they haven't refunded everybody from WrestleMania weekend yet. Okay, from what I understand, some people have been refunded, and I'm talking about ticket buyers, and others have not. And if they have declared bankruptcy, chances are those people aren't getting their money, and that's dirty as fuck. Okay, you need to give how many possible tickets was it? I mean, geez, you got to go into a little bit of a debt to do it. You got to do it. You took their money. You got to give it back. So if that's the case, and I don't know that it is, if they're going bankrupt and thereby skirting the money that they owe to people who bought tickets for Tampa, that is some bullshit. That is some carny-ass dirty business, and that's inexcusable. There's no excuse for that. You take out a loan. You do what you got to do. You had the money at some point. What'd you do with it? Okay? You got to give that money back to people. Okay? So we'll see as we move along if that part of it's true. But it seems like something's happening here, and no matter which path it takes to get there, this may ultimately end up with WWE owning all of the names, trademarks, and assets of Evolve Wrestling. I don't know what that would mean for the Evolve's contracted talent. Josh Briggs, Kurt Stallion. I know there's more. I just can't think of them.
Brandy Lauren, I believe, was under.
Maybe AR Fox.
Right.
I mean, for sure Leon Ruff and
the Skull guys. Yeah, a lot of the Skull guys, I think.
But the Skull guys are getting WWE bookings. They'll be fine. They'll land on their feet because I think they'll end up in NXT. I mean, they're basically there anyway. They wrestle NXT basically every week. I think they're wrestling SmackDown as we speak against, or maybe not. I was flipping channels, but let me take a look. I guess it's not all that important. But
no, this is the Skull guys on SmackDown isn't very important. So
you got it on or no?
No, no. Are you kidding? Get out of here. I don't have a TV anywhere near me anyway, so
I can't reach my remote now. It's on now, right? Yeah, I can't.
Yes, yeah.
I can't reach my remote. I either saw it when I was flipping through.
Yeah, it's just say yes, and nobody will care.
Or on Twitter or something like that. Anyway, the point here is the Skull guys will be fine, but I don't know what will happen to the contracted talent. But obviously those trademarks and the tape library and all that is valuable. I mean, it's very valuable. I mean, the tape library is incredible. That's just in terms of content that they could put on the network, in terms of footage for documentaries. There's a million wrestlers in that company right now that came through Evolve. And, it's not like you didn't have access to the footage with your sort of association with WWN, but now just owning it makes everything easier. So at the end of the day, if Evolve is no longer going to exist, and that would also include all of WWN, by the way, Shine and FIP as well, then my hope is that all of that stuff ends up on the network in a nice, convenient place that I'm paying for already. Yeah.
Think of the task that it would take to convert that shit. The music, I know WWE has always said that they wanted to add stuff to the network and add, added value and this sort of promotions and all this sort of stuff. I don't know if they can put Shine or like Evolve to, like old Evolve shows and stuff. That quality is pretty terrible. I mean, I love Evolve. I love DGUSA. I love all that shit, but man, that quality is tough.
It's horrible, but the thing is, some of that old territory stuff they have up isn't so great either.
It's not. Yeah, honestly, I feel like the value is not necessarily adding it to the network. I would love that. I mean, for the record, it'd be fucking tremendous to have all that shit on the network. To me, I don't know if this is doing Gabe a solid. I don't know the background to that. To me, it feels like, let's just buy this shit so we can have documentary fodder for our Johnny Gargano documentary or our Drew McIntyre documentary. So we can cut to a shot of him in Evolve where we say, where Drew talks about having to reinvent himself after, his lowest moment in his life. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I have visions of, less so than... I would love it. It's tricky. The task of going through and scrubbing the music and getting it to a point that you want, I don't know if it's really worth it for Evolve. Maybe, again, fine with me. It'd be cool with me, but I just have a tough time believing that they're going to invest, the capital to do that.
I'm going through 1993 ECW right now for Jovember to Remember. $5 tier, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. There's a new Jovember coming out in the next 24 hours, by the way. Super Summer Sizzler 93, one of the worst shows you'll ever see.
Is this where we get the review, the reveal of Dark Patriot 2?
We get the reveal of Dark Patriot 2.
And you getting no sold by... Are you going to bury that guy?
I believe I have figured out who it is.
Okay, did you bury the fuck out of him?
What do you think of my theory?
I'd love it. It's perfect. Yeah.
I think it's him.
You've done a great job. And the no sell by a guy. I mean, you have to bury this guy for fucking kayfabe.
Make him pay, Rich. Make him pay. I talk about it on the show. I already recorded it. So, yes, I will discuss the man.
Yes,
and I did reach out to him.
Protecting kayfabe for a 20-year-old gimmick that nobody remembers and nobody cares about.
A 27-year-old.
27-year-old.
One-off
1993.
gimmick.
Where am I?
A 27-year-old one-off gimmick that he did once, and he's protecting kayfabe. But it's fine. I talk about it behind the pin.
Good. Fuck that guy. And fuck that guy in general anyway, so that's fine.
Also on this episode of Jovember, we have the Eddie Gilbert tease of where I told you he made another sleazy maneuver on a lady.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
I teased that on the UWF deep dive that we did. That's revealed on this one. And then I talk about the Angel Amoroso controversies as well. This is a very scandalous edition of Jovember to Remember.
Yeah,
everybody
juicy.
to learn a
Nice
little
and
something.
juicy.
A lot of juice, a lot of dirt. If you like the dirt, it's a great episode. But my point here is, after the plug, nothing could be worse quality-wise than those old ECW tapes.
Yeah.
And they had to scrub all the music off of that shit, too, for the entire history of the company. So it's just a matter of putting in the effort. They've shown that they'll put in that kind of effort.
Yeah, but they've also shown that they're starting to ease up on their effort that they want on the WWE Network as well.
True, because they're not investing as much in the network. That's a good point. But I think if they can scrub the ECW footage, which is arguably worse than the Evolve footage somehow,
Sure.
The early stuff is. I mean, that 93 stuff is horrendous. Then I don't see why they couldn't do it for this. That is great. The Dragon Gate USA and Evolve libraries are fucking great. I mean, there's periods where it stinks, but there's periods where it's incredible. 2016 Evolve.
Yeah.
Wrestling almost doesn't get any better than that. The early Dragon Gate USA, which the Open the Voice Gate guys are going through right now. Everyone should go listen to those shows. That's incredible stuff.
Oh, I've been watching along with them too, and yeah, those shows, like I remember watching them in real time and being blown away. They still hold up today. They still some of the matches are like, I remember watching them in real time, as they were going on. I watch them again, and I'm just like, dude, they're even better than I remember. Like this fucking Bryan Danielson versus Shingo. Are you fucking kidding me? It's incredible. It's so good. Davey Richards being a dumb jock, fucking thrown everywhere. Oh my God, it's great. Yeah, it's incredible stuff.
And the dying days of Dragon Gate USA weren't good. And the dying days of the Evolve era, like post-Gargano, post-Swan, post-Ricochet, before they completely transitioned to grapple fuck, that wasn't good.
Right.
There's periods where DG USA / Evolve is not good. But the period, like right now, I mean, it's people beat it up too much. It's actually, the shows are actually decent, but I get why people aren't into them. But there's periods where it's not that good. But the periods where it's good, it's like really fucking great. And I would love for them, if this is a thing, to put all that in a nice convenient place. And I'm already paying $10 a month for it. That would be fantastic.
Exactly. And they did stream an Evolve show once as well. And that wasn't really good quality either. So again, like I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate here. If you told me tomorrow every Evolve and every WWN property is on the network, I'm fucking jumping for joy and going and watching that shit right away. You know what I mean? We're starting a brand new fucking series on the Patreon where I'm watching, Evolve main events or DGUSA main events. Like I would fucking love that, but I don't know. I hope, but yeah,
I hope too. I mean, I feel like if you can scrub Metallica from every 8-minute Sandman entrance,
right,
then you can scrub Lionel Richie from Rich Swann.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I feel like you can do that because it's not even nearly as pronounced in Evolve. I mean, the music was such a huge part of ECW, and I mean, New Jack matches, the music played during the match.
Right.
I mean, come on. I mean, how great were those New Jack matches? Oh my God. Like, I mean, I was there, but I mean, you were following the company at that time, right?
Yeah, it was insane. Like that was I remember the first ECW show I ever watched. God only knows what show it was. I have no idea. And I had to find it on like my parents had like a UHF, like an old TV up in their attic, and they had like a UHF signal thing on it. And I remember one time finding this like channel. It was like in Gary, Indiana or something like that. And it's wrestling. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, what the fuck? And I like the first guy that I saw was New Jack, and I was just like, yep, I need to watch more of this. It's just, fucking, Natural Born Killers blaring through the speakers as this guy is just hitting people with fucking shovels and garbage cans, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before. It was incredible. While the crowd's just going fucking apeshit the entire time. It's great.
Probably the Eliminators. It's probably Cronus getting hit in the head with a garbage can.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I forget what era it was. I forget if it was probably like 97, 98, somewhere in that range. So yeah, maybe it was the Eliminators, but
you would have been a little later because you would have been a little too young for like 95, 96.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't even know it existed at that point. So
this may not even have been the Gangstas. This might have been like New Jack.
It might have been just New Jack. Actually, you know what? I honestly remember one of my first memories of ECW was when New Jack came out and beat the fuck out of Mustafa. And Joey Styles was screaming about how these guys used to be best friends and now they hate each other and stuff. Or I forget what era that was, but yeah, there was a mini feud between those dudes too, right?
I think
it was 90. It might have been 98 or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Either way, New Jack rules. So
yeah, you know who I've been running into a lot on the network watching old WCW Saturday nights is Mustafa Saeed as a jobber.
Yeah, yeah, he's a brick shithouse, man. You could see why he got a lot of chances. Yeah. He wasn't good, but goddamn, he looked the part.
He wasn't good, but he was the perfect complement to New Jack because New Jack would cut these incredible promos, and Mustafa would just stand behind him with those eyes.
Yeah,
he
was flex the entire time too, and you're like, "Fuck, that dude's gonna kill somebody."
He had such an expressive face. He'd make these like his eyes.
Yeah,
and his
he'd
mouth.
bend his head a little bit too, and
yeah, and he'd make these scary noises. Like he just made noises, right? You know the Mustafa noise, and like it would complement the New Jack promos perfectly.
Well, you could buy that this New Jack guy who was very boisterous, very charismatic, would tell this giant human being, "Go kill that guy for me," and that giant guy would kill that guy for him. And that's kind of what it was. You know what I mean? He's like, "Hey, we're gonna kill these motherfuckers," and Mustafa's like, "All right, cool, let's do it." And then they'd fucking go and kill some motherfuckers. So,
yeah, what a great act that was. I mean, I know in Smoky Mountain the narrative has kind of changed to where to the idea being that they didn't really draw money. Right? Like it was a good idea on paper, but it didn't really work in the way that Cornette intended in terms of business. But, it's still, putting that aside, if you don't care about that, I mean, it's even more shocking in Smoky Mountain doing that act and turning it up to 11 in front of all those Southern racists to begin with. You come up north, you don't really get quite the same effect. And they fit in better in ECW, and New Jack became a much bigger star in ECW. But anywhere you saw the Gangstas, anywhere you saw New Jack, I mean, it's just he had a believability and an aura that very few. When you're talking about a dangerous aura that you can buy into, I mean, who better than New Jack? I mean, but I don't know. We drifted way off path. But as far as Evolve goes. I mean, if this is it for them, I think they leave a tremendous legacy. It's say what you want about Gabe Sapolsky personally, and a lot of people don't have good things to say about him personally, and those are their issues. And in some cases, I'm sure they're very valid. We've had a decent relationship with him. He gets mad at us sometimes, but for the most part, he's cordial and friendly. And I can't say he's ever done us wrong, but he doesn't book us. Okay. He doesn't do business with us.
Yeah. He doesn't have to pay us at the end of the day. So,
right. So, I mean, it's a different relationship that a podcaster or someone in, the wrestling, I don't like the word. I'm not a journalist. What's our space
wrestling
called?
Media? I don't know.
Wrestling media space would have with him as opposed to people he does business with. So I get it. But putting that aside, and you have to be fair, Evolve / Dragon Gate USA / WWN, if it is over, leaves behind a tremendous legacy, and it's one of the most important independent promotions of all time. I mean, it's in the pantheon, whether original Ring of Honor, Evolve, PWG, who else? You want to throw Chikara in there? Be my guest. I wouldn't personally, but they'd be, if you want to put them in, I'm not going to argue with you. Who else would be in that pantheon tier of influential indies on the top level of the independent wrestling? And this isn't to besmirch any smaller companies that do a great job locally and have been there's been indies that have been operating for decades and you just never hear about them, or they're on a smaller scale. But in terms of greater influence in the wrestling business, to me, those promotions are a pantheon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's maybe like your IWA Mid-Souths or whatever in the early 2000s or whatnot, but all these were kind of like Evolve's legacy and Evolve really. And when we say Evolve's legacy, I kind of combine DGUSA into the same thing. I don't know for right or for wrong, but that's because it is kind of the spiritual successor.
The same company.
Yeah, it's the same company.
They ran concurrently for a while, but it's the same booker.
And then they molded,
then
they molded into one, and they shared talent on the same, it's just, Evolve was DGUSA without the DG guys in it for the most part, until Evolve kind of became its own thing. But no, I'd say those, Chikara, PWG, Ring of Honor, those are your pantheon.
You could make an argument for IWA Mid-South, I guess. I mean, it didn't last long. They were hugely influential for a while in terms of booking the hot talent at the time and giving them the place to have great matches. And you could even throw CZW in there.
Yeah, absolutely. God, man, in the early 2000s, CZW for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, they occupied that space and they gave a lot of future stars their start and all that. But I wouldn't put either of those promotions on the level of the other three. Or even, I don't know, Chikara is a tricky one because they're kind of like, Chikara to me in a lot of ways is like the Dragon Gate of America, where they're just in their own lane and it's hard for me to even... Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I do, yeah, because like if you ever go back and look at old Chikara shows, you're like, holy fuck, like, my God, they were like loaded with talent and stuff, but they never ever felt like that company. You know what I mean? Like, they never felt like the company in the indies.
Chikara wrestlers would go elsewhere to break through. Like, and sometimes they would change gimmicks along the way to do so. So it's like, I'm talking about your top line indies, which were churning out stars. And that, to me, is Ring of Honor before they became because they're a major league promotion now. But original Ring of Honor, when Gabe was there, Evolve, PWG. To me, those are the three. I mean, you can make arguments for the others, but those are the stepping stone promotions that launched people into stardom. To me. It's and some of the others we named, I get, but Chikara is a weird one because Chikara never really did that. Like, you had to get out of Chikara first and then go to one of those places I just named, and then you would be launched.
Right.
No one launches straight from Chikara doing a hermit crab gimmick. It just doesn't happen. Or as a fucking ant. Okay, you have to break out of that shit and stop being a cartoon character and do it somewhere else in one of the places I just named. But there were other places like CZW for a period without question. IWA Mid-South in the early 2000s without question. And there's probably some others we're forgetting, and people will get mad at us like they always do. But it's not on purpose. I just, this wasn't on the run sheet, to go over the most influential indies of all time. But I think regardless, I'd put Evolve right there in the pantheon because you look at the stars that they've churned out, whether homegrown or whether taking guys that were starting to break through elsewhere and getting them to the next level. The list is enormous. And you look at the rosters of WWE and AEW today, and particularly WWE, and it's just loaded with guys who either did their most memorable work in Evolve, broke through as stars in Evolve, or really made their name working for Evolve. So,
right.
And it's whether it's Johnny Gargano, Matt Riddle, Darby Allin. Those to me are just no-brainers. You can't argue against it. Evolve was their launching pads. And there's others. I mean, Apollo Crews, without question, I would label him an Evolve guy.
Yeah, I actually have a pretty extensive list. Do you want to give me yay or nay on these guys if I mentioned some dudes to you?
Okay, yay or nay on whether Evolve is largely responsible for them breaking through?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, that sounds okay. Let's do that.
Okay, so Johnny Gargano, absolutely yes, right?
Absolutely.
These are for the record, these are guys that are in major companies now. So like an AR Fox, obviously, but he's not. I wouldn't consider him in a major company right now. So I'm not including AR Fox, but absolutely a guy. Yeah.
He's definitely a guy for whatever career he has. He owes it to Evolve. I mean, there's no question. But
sure.
Gargano is the poster boy. He is the face of the promotion.
Yeah,
he would be
showed up on a fray on the first show of DGUSA and ended up being one of the biggest stars in that entire brand and now one of the biggest stars of NXT. So
easy yes.
Drew Gulak's an interesting one, but I think I don't know. The Evolve stuff was pretty important in him getting to that next stage.
I gotta say, he is not in WWE today without going to Evolve first. He's not.
Yeah.
Now, he may not have done his best work in Evolve. I would argue that he probably did. I didn't really have to think about it. But you think he's there today without stopping off and Evolve first?
God, no. It was the finishing school. It's the finishing school for a lot of these guys. And we talked about it for years and years and years. And there's people arguing with you on Twitter about it because it's been fun to dump on Gabe and it's fun to dump on Evolve the last few years. But say whatever you want about PWG, say whatever you want about this, but like it was, and we have been talking about it as long as this podcast existed, is that once Gabe says, yeah, this guy's good, or gives him a stamp of approval or books him, that almost always resulted in that guy getting looks from other people. That guy getting looks from WWE. That guy getting looks from Impact. That guy getting it. The Gabe stamp of approval means a lot. It has always meant a lot, and it will continue to mean a lot.
And for many years, when PWG would only use talent that other people had already gotten over, that stamp of approval from Gabe and getting over in Gabe's promotions is what got you onto PWG. And obviously PWG is in a very similar position to Evolve in that it helped launch many television careers.
Right, and people get hung up on, William Regal's at PWG shows and he's signing guys from PWG, but like you said, a lot of those guys don't make PWG until they get a few shows under the Evolve or DGUSA belt. And go through a lot of these guys I'm going to mention. There's a lot of guys that I know that people are going to say, oh, PWG, go look who booked them first. Go look who booked them 5 times before PWG booked them.
And I don't even want to make it PWG.
No, not at all. But
because PWG is obviously right there with them in terms of churning out top. But there was unquestionably the peak PWG years was an all-star show. How do you think they became all-stars? Working for people like Gabe, primarily Gabe, but other places too. But Gabe is the one that made these stars so they can go work the all-star show and be seen by William Regal. Now, early PWG, they had to make their own stars, and they did. You can go through the whole list of those guys, and current PWG, because of the nature of the business right now, they have to make their own stars and take chances on Australians and luchadors and more obscure indie wrestlers. But at their peak, when the scene was loaded, PWG sat back, put their feet on the table, let everybody else make stars, and then ran all-star shows.
Right, and people got made fun of it. This revisionist history is pretty funny, where people are like, no, it's PWG. And I'm like, no, go back in 2016. Listen to our shows where people are like, oh, PWG doesn't book anybody from the South California Indies. And it's like, fuck you. Why bother? We're going to book Drew Galloway, Zack Sabre Jr., Ricochet, and Rich Swann because we want to, because they're good. Like
the big critique on PWG was that they weren't booking new talent and making stars.
That they weren't making their own stars. They were just using other people's stars. Right?
That was the big critique. But now today, everyone's doing revisionist history.
Yeah, the PWG went, you know what? Zack Sabre Jr., let's try this kid out and see what he's got made. You know what I mean?
Like they were making stars that whole time. They were just using the stars.
Matt Riddle. This will be interesting. Let's see what this guy can do from UFC. No, get out of here.
I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was seeing.
Today, what are you talking about? Go listen to an old show. Go listen to us talk about a Ebola lineup from a few years ago. You'll see. Very different. I mean, and I'm not criticizing PWG. I loved it. It was great. I would do the same fucking thing. We always said that'd be the best thing in the world to say, I don't know, fucking call Gargano, Riddle, Thatcher, fucking Swan, Ricochet, Galloway, and Zach, and let's go. Let's do this thing. Bring Chuck too. Who cares? Bring the Bucks. Perfect. There we go. Booked.
The big thing with PWG for years was, is so-and-so ready for PWG? Is he a big enough star to go to PWG yet? Because it was an all-star show. They weren't making stars in PWG during their peak. Stop it.
I know.
But anyway, again, I don't want to downplay their significance.
Right. No, they were important in the life cycle as well for a lot of these guys.
You said it right. Gabe's promotions were always the finishing school. If you're at the top of your class in the indies, you want to work for Gabe. And Gabe would find the top of the class guys for his finishing school. PWG was the showcase.
Yeah.
That was the showcase.
Right. Now you're ready for the all-star game. You've done the travel teams. You've done AAU or whatever. Okay, now you're ready for the showcase, the MLB showcase, the NBA draft combine or whatever. And that's what PWG was.
And then you worked for PWG for the discount, by the way. Gabe wasn't the only people.
Right. I love that too, where it's like like PWG was writing these giant fucking checks to all these dudes.
Now look, you're going to make it in t-shirts. But they knew that, and they knew that, the showcase they're providing you with William Regal peeking through the curtain, and all the t-shirts you're going to sell to the drunk fans in intermission is going to make it up. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's not an us versus. I think they occupied similar but different roles.
Yes.
is what I'm trying to get at. But
yeah, if you didn't live through that time, and there are a lot of recent fans that maybe didn't live through that life cycle or know what it was, but yeah, they were very symbiotic, that relationship between Evolve, Gabe, and PWG in a good way, and resulted in a lot of guys having, you know, their career highs. But yeah, let's go over the list here real quick. Matt Riddle, I mean, that's a fucking no question.
It's a no-brainer. He's totally an Evolve guy.
Right. Austin Theory. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
And when we do this, people are, well, he worked in AIW and he worked in Beyond.
Right.
But these guys, and that's great, and that it helps build at the grassroots level, and I'm not putting those places down. But you do not break through typically in places like that over the last decade. You break through when you go to work for Gabe. And it doesn't mean that he found all of these diamonds in the rough either, or created stars from the ground up. He created a couple, found a few, and maybe he did pluck some of these guys who were getting over on the grassroots level, but you take that final step, you get over as a star working for Gabe. And, you know, Matt Riddle he's a no-brainer like Gargano.
Right. And talk to indie guys of that era too. And we did it plenty of times. I mean, they know.
Oh my God!
They would say it. They would say, "Hey, you know, I got booked for Gabe this weekend," and they would say, "Yeah, you know, that's the next step." Or I know, yeah, I know that's what they know. They knew. That's why a lot of them worked for discounts, like you said.
Yeah, and it really doesn't have anything to do, like I said, what you think of him personally or what you think of his booking. It doesn't matter. He's like, oh, well, he didn't book Darby well. Darby is a star because of Evolve.
Right.
Please. It does not matter how bad you think he booked him. It's irrelevant, actually. It's completely irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, he didn't book him poorly because he wouldn't have gotten over.
Right.
But anyway,
it ultimately didn't work out. But yeah, I mean, they're
yeah, it fell apart at the end. But anyway, you can knock Darby off the list because to me, Darby, Gargano, and Riddle are just such no-brainers that I can't entertain an argument against it.
Right. Austin Theory, again, not even a question,
one,
of course.
Yeah. And that's one that was built from the ground up.
Timothy Thatcher is an interesting one because I think there's a case to be made that his worst stuff was in Evolve and WWN, so he's an interesting one. But I do think that he also got him, you know, Timothy Thatcher got on the map, you know, to a lot of people in Evolve and WWN. But that is a weird one in the sense that it was pretty terrible when he was there for the most part.
Thatcher is the perfect example of the booking does not matter, because this is where Thatcher became he became a name on the next level because of Evolve. I mean, people knew who he was. Deep indie fans knew who he was before Evolve, and for his stuff in Europe and his stuff in California. But going to Evolve, without question, expanded Timothy Thatcher's name and was instrumental in his career, regardless of how overpushed he was, since he didn't get over with the fan base.
Right. Darby Allin, check for sure. Fucking Tony Nese, come on, check. Done.
Now people are going to say, well, he was an Impact. But again, no one remembers that. But, you know, the premier athlete stuff in Evolve is what ultimately got him hired with WWE.
Right, exactly. Rich Swann, a guy unquestionable, I think, between DGUSA and Evolve.
People will argue maybe like CZW or whatever, but to me, he's an Evolve guy,
right.
Yeah.
Ricochet, I mean, come on. Fucking no-brainer.
That's a Dragon Gate USA. Dragon Gate USA launched the rest of his career.
Right. Chikara got him ready. Found him, whatever you want to say with Ricochet, but he was a skinny geek with long hair that was going nowhere in Chikara.
Yeah, but everybody starts somewhere.
Right, exactly.
It's where you break through is what matters.
When when he entered DGUSA to when he left, I mean, there's no question that he was a fucking star.
And that was the launching pad for all the other shit that he did, you know, including Dragon Gate. Which, how do you think he got to Dragon Gate?
Right, it wasn't Chikara.
You know, no.
This is an interesting one here. Drew Galloway, the current Raw champion, Drew McIntyre. I see why people would say, the first booking he took after WWE, 2 months when it was done, 90 days after he left WWE, was Evolve in WWN. He did a weekend shot there. And he was a champion, and the last booking he took. Exactly.
He took was the morning before he came back to WWE. There is no question Evolve revived his career and got him back to
and he fucking knew it too, because where did he go the first time? The first booking he could possibly take when he was done with WWE was Evolve. So
yes. Mm-hmm.
Zack Sabre Jr., an interesting one, because I think
I don't know about. I mean,
he's tough.
I mean, Gabe booked him before PWG did, but I don't think he broke through entirely at that point, because he was like on Evolve 4 or some shit like that.
Yeah, he was some early. Yeah, nobody cares about when, you know.
But that one, I don't know. I don't consider him an Evolve guy.
Yeah,
but
that's fine. Yeah, I think he's the one that's definitely on the fence for me. I don't know that. I think whether he worked Evolve or not, I think Zack Sabre Jr. was going to become a star.
I mean, he obviously came through and did some of his best work there, but I can't be like, he's not on like the Gargano tier of, oh, Evolve made him. I can't say that. I cannot say that.
Shane Strickland's an interesting one. I know a lot of people are going to go PWG, but look at his background.
Well, they're going to say
history.
CZW
Or CZW, but he did a lot of Evolve. A lot of Evolve. More than you probably imagine. 23 appearances on Evolve shows in his career.
Well, it's indisputable that they got him the WWE gig because he went directly from Evolve to WWE and during the relationship era. So that one's just supported by facts, even though in my brain, when you say Shane Strickland, I don't necessarily instantly associate him with Evolve.
Right. Sami Callihan. Again, think of the first time Sami Callihan appeared, got signed by WWE. I'm not saying necessarily today, but like he was signed because of DGUSA. We were glad. We were celebrating it, remember? When he got signed, good. Get the fuck out of here. We don't have to see you again. But
we didn't want him there anymore. That's right. Yeah. And he's had a major league career since. So.
Right. Lindsay Dorado is an interesting one too. A lot of Evolve shots, but who cares really? I mean, to be honest, but you
can make the Chikara argument for him. I don't know. I don't consider him an Evolve guy. He doesn't.
Right.
I don't think so. No.
Shotzi Blackheart's interesting. She's been appeared a bunch on Evolve and Shine and that sort of stuff, but I don't necessarily really consider her.
Yeah, but again, I mean, she directly got her job, right, coming through Evolve.
True. Yeah.
Or do I have that timeline mixed up? Is she?
No, I think she got her contract on an Evolve show.
Yes, that's right. She came through. Yeah, so she absolutely.
Like Paul Heyman, or not Paul Heyman, but I think William Regal gave her a contract on.
That's right. Yeah.
An Evolve show. So yeah, it seems like a pretty direct influence in some way. And then two no doubters for me: Kalisto, Samurai del Sol, and Ua Nation. Apollo Crews.
Oh, he's
no fucking doubters.
He's an easy one. Yeah.
So not bad. It's a pretty good list.
Kalisto and UI, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, and then there's a million other guys who passed through where Evolve was their last stop before either getting to WWE or coming back to WWE. Right. Those would include T.J. Perkins, Chris Hero, people like that. Hey, here's one for you: Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Squandered Ring of Honor, jumps to Evolve. What happens when he jumps to Evolve? He finds himself in WWE a few years later. And I don't think anyone would argue that his most memorable work, he was in Chikara and he was in Ring of Honor, and that was all well and good. But what do you remember? Catch Point, right? That's instantly what comes to mind with Stokely Hathaway. So, I mean, there's another one. And there's others that I'm sure we're forgetting. And again, there's many that have passed through as the final stop because they knew that's the final stop. These wrestlers, like, we've talked to wrestlers, and it's like a big thing when they finally got to a Gabe promotion, or they were trying to get to a Gabe promotion, and I've had wrestlers ask me advice. How do I get to, so, I mean, I don't know. It's just frustrating because I see so many terrible takes on Evolve and their legacy and what they meant and their place in the scene over the last decade. And they have been on the decline, so it's like I'm not sure it leaves as gaping of a hole as it would have if they, disbanded 5 years ago, but it still leaves a hole. That was a place where, especially now with the association with WWE, not only, I mean, it was known as the launching pad before. Now it was like officially a launching pad. Now it was like legitimately the final stop to be seen, and the guy booking you worked for WWE and could get you there. And we see the Skulk there now, and Austin Theory, and, Josh Briggs was soon to be on his way. And so it does leave a hole. And that is a completely separate discussion from, was Gabe a good booker? That's not what today is for. Or was Gabe a good guy to do business with? Yeah, probably not. There's horror stories. That stuff is a different discussion than was Evolve a vitally important indie for, the decade or so that it existed. And the question, it's unquestionably yes. I mean, you get bogged down in talking about booking and small crowds at different points. And the other thing is a lot of people don't realize Evolve is much more than the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of new fans or people that have just people that just jump in on the, let's dunk on Evolve and dunk on Gabe and all that sort of stuff. And it's an easy target, as we've always said. He's always been an easy target. But
I really think dunking on Gabe is different than dunking on Evolve. I mean,
right.
I really believe it's 2 different discussions. You know, if you had issues with Gabe because he fucked you over or didn't, you had business problems, I'm not defending that. That's whatever. We have people on our podcast network that fell out with Gabe.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he fucking he was a total asshole to those guys. Yeah, for sure.
And we backed them. Okay, so in that little scenario, so it's like I understand that. I personally can't speak to it, but I think it's a different discussion. Evolve's place in the scene, and let's break down the career of Gabe Sapolsky. I just think those are 2 different, not loosely, 2 different. They're connected, but they're 2 different things and 2 different discussion points.
All right, you ready to stay in WWE land? You want to talk Backlash, or do you want to get to New Japan Cup?
Let's finish up the WWE stuff and then do New Japan. We got plenty of time for New Japan.
Yeah, probably won't take long to talk about WWE Backlash 2020, Joe. This Sunday, the greatest match ever, Randy Orton versus Edge. Can you palpable expectations, palpable excitement here for the greatest match ever happening this Sunday and involving Edge and Randy Orton. What the hell is this whole thing? We haven't. I don't think we've talked about the greatest match ever here on the show. What the fuck? Who's lost their mind? What is this? Why is this happening?
Well, supposedly it was a Vince and Heyman idea, and it's taped already. And I don't know. Like Edge is very uncomfortable with it.
No, he knows it's not. Yeah, both guys. I think Orton posted something today too, where like clearly these guys don't love that they're being put in this position because they know they can't.
I don't think it's fair to them.
No,
I mean, they're put in a very uncomfortable, very unfair position with that kind of marketing. And now that we know it's not a gimmick where it's going to be a quick DQ or something, and they legitimately had a match, it's totally unfair to those 2 guys because it wasn't their idea. They can't have the greatest match ever. And the fact that they pre-taped it and did spots multiple times and did edits means that it can't be the greatest match ever anyway. That immediately disqualifies it. And it's a shame because even if it's a great match now, I am not going to look favorably on it because because that's not a match to me, where you pre-tape it with the intent of editing it and making sure all the spots are perfect. It's one thing just to run live to tape. That's not what this is. This is essentially one of their cinematic matches just presented like an actual match is the best way to put it. Because it was taped weeks ahead and supposedly they, so they can do heavy editing and whatnot and make everything look right. And this new thing now that they're addicted to, I don't know if it's the case here, but the implementation of crash pads, I mean, that's all well and good, but to me, it's not a match anymore at that point. What you're doing now is just, a fight scene for a movie. So I don't know. It's bizarre. I mean, but I really think taping it ahead I feel bad for them from that perspective too, because how can we give them credit if it is great? I mean, technically anyone could go out there and have a great match if you're going to have – me and you could go have a match, and it might take longer, and it might have to be way more creative. But
take a few days to edit, but yeah, you can get there.
But with the benefit of editing, I mean, there's just nothing impressive about that. But it might tell you that the company is dead set on trying to make sure that it's perceived as great, right? Instead of just trusting them to go out there and do it. I'd be kind of insulted by that if I was Edge or Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. You're marketing this as the greatest match ever, but you're not letting us go out there and do it. And they're both pretty good experienced pro wrestlers. It's not like we're dealing with rookies here, So the whole thing is very bizarre.
Yeah, the thing that trips me up with this whole thing, and it probably shouldn't, and it's one of these dumb little things that like I shouldn't care about, but just the idea that like in kayfabe it's being called the greatest match ever, and that like these wrestlers have to say, oh, the expectations are real high here because I have to go out there and have the greatest match ever and stuff, and it's just like it's one of these things that it's like when you disconnect from this and think about it for a second, you're like, this is so stupid. Like how in kayfabe does Edge have the greatest match ever? You know what I mean? How in the story, like you said, you know, or we talk about in you know, our deep dives and past wrestling and other wrestling companies and all that sort of stuff, where I want to win this match to prove I'm better than you and sort of stuff. How does Edge go out there and say, all right, the bell's going to ring and I'm going to have the greatest match ever? How do you do that in kayfabe?
Yeah, there's a kayfabe issue with that. I agree.
It's weird. It's just so like, and I had people replying, well, the kickouts and that sort of, but yes, think of like a wrestler in like, you know, if this was real, if this is a simulated fight, there's no way, like, cause, and some people saying, well, it could be, you know, in UFC they have, you know, great fights and they give great, yeah, but in UFC people like matches that are over in 10 seconds. People like big knockouts. Some of the greatest boxing matches of all time were quick knockouts or fun, exciting matches and all that sort of stuff. Or people saying, oh, athletes say, you know, NBA players sometimes say, oh, this is going to be a great game or I can't wait. Yeah, but they have a set amount of time. They know the game's going to go 48 minutes. And in the context of those 48 minutes, they're going to battle back and forth with another team or whatever. In wrestling, you shouldn't want to have a great match. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to have a great match. A great match is inherently you not being able to put the other guy away. You know, both of you guys being, you know, equals or whatever. And you really wouldn't want to promote that if you were a wrestler. But here we are. It's one of these dumb things that I shouldn't care about. And I know they don't care about. And I know most people don't care about. But it's one of those disconnect things where you're just like, why is this? What is going on? Like, what is this? Why is this happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky from that standpoint too, because it's kind of, but that one's a weird one. I mean, in MMA, there are fighters that strive to have a great fight, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to take a 10-second knockout if they can get one, right? So is it the same mindset for wrestling? Can you strive to have a great match while also preserving kayfabe and attempting to win it?
Right. Like, yeah, what if Randy Orton hits an RKO in the first second of the match and goes, oh no, that's not going to be the greatest match ever if I pin him right now, so I better let him get up.
Yeah, that would be incredibly stupid, but it's like, yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it's just a weird thing all around, and it's something that they can't possibly live up to. I mean, what we're going to be...
No. Good God, no. Are you kidding?
I mean, Edge hasn't wrestled a real match, in what, 10 years or something like that? And there's a ceiling on Orton, and their best possible match would be a really good match. I mean,
sure,
their best possible match would be like a notebook match for sure. But their best possible match, I don't even think can approach best match ever territory. I feel silly for even talking.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, the fact that we're talking about it is proven that maybe they had the right idea here, because we're even discussing it for a half of a second when it's so utterly ridiculous that
if everything landed perfect, could they have a match of the year?
Maybe. I don't know. Randy Orton. I don't know.
What's the best Randy Orton singles match of all time?
Oh, God.
Did one of the Cena matches? Now he had a bunch of like very mediocre,
real
matches.
bad Cena matches. Yeah, there was one. I forget exactly when it was because they had like 9 straight pay-per-view main events.
Didn't they have a TLC match that was pretty good?
That's some sort of gimmicky thing that was pretty good.
What about
I'd probably say the match against I was there for live for the one at Money in the Bank, and that was awesome. The one I've always gone to is him versus Cactus Jack at Backlash. Well, interestingly enough, Backlash, 2004, I want to say, was the year of that one, which is a really, really fucking great match.
Yeah. Edge
That's probably it. Yeah. And Edge just had some tremendous matches, of course.
He's had some good singles, but I mean, I don't even think best case scenario, could they have a match of the year contender? Maybe. I wouldn't bet on it. But let's get there before we talk about greatest match ever. But look, it's pro wrestling. It's a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's a promotional tactic, you know, and it does have people talking.
Right. They've achieved that for sure.
So they've absolutely achieved that. They have people thinking it's going to be a bullshit finish, which is probably the wrong kind of talk that you want,
right.
Where you've got your audience talking about a match that they're convinced isn't going to be a real match. That speaks more to how shitty your company has been booked than anything else. Whereas if New Japan promoted, this is going to be the greatest match ever, would anybody think that there's going to be a 30-second disqualification?
No.
Or a run-in, or some...
Yeah, Okada's going to hit Omega in the nuts and roll him up in 10 seconds and win the match, yeah.
It's just funny how people's first thought when WWE says it is you're going to get bait and switched.
Yeah, you guys are going to fuck us over somehow. How are you going to do that?
And that says a hell of a lot about the company. But what's the rest of this card look like?
Oh, it's an interesting one here. WWE Championship match, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. So now I would say, for the record, I believe the next night's Raw has already been taped. Because if it had not been taped, given that Heyman has been fired or like, demoted, whatever you want to say, I could see Drew McIntyre getting hit by a car, and oh my god, Drew McIntyre's not going to be able to defend his title. Like, I could see a bunch of that shit happening, but of course they're taping.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I'm saying like getting rid of the Heyman guys as quickly as possible to have.
Oh well, we're going to find out whether McIntyre was a Heyman guy or a McMahon.
Right in 2 weeks. We won't find out this week, but we'll find out maybe next week. So.
Yeah, so we'll see whose idea that was ultimately.
Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley.
Well, they had really good matches in Impact. Do you remember those matches?
Yeah, it's almost the anniversary, I believe. I believe it's legitimately the anniversary of their Slammiversary match, like this weekend as well, which is perfect. But yeah, I think it was Slammiversary 16. Garrett Kidney is screaming right now that I got the year wrong. I believe it's either 16 or 17 was the Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley Slammiversary main event. But it was really good. Yeah, really, really good stuff.
Yeah. I believe that year it was the only Impact notebook match for me in a piece of trivia that literally zero people care about.
Nobody cares about. Hey, Joe, how's your fantasy team doing?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Joe, what was your only Impact notebook match in 2016? Is a question I'll never be asked.
Right. I'm glad you asked. It was actually Drew Galloway versus Bobby Lashley.
But I just provided you that information.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, you don't even need to ask Joe anymore. Next time you see him, you don't have to ask him that anymore. You can ask another
That's right.
question. So there's that match. Another match on this show, Joe, is Braun Strowman defending the WWE Universal Championship against The Miz and John Morrison.
Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard's SmackDown coming with some hot action here.
Fantastic stuff, which is, why they've retained all 4.5 million viewers that they started with on SmackDown. Great action like this. It's fucking trash. What do you want me to say?
WWE Raw Women's Championship, Asuka defending against Nia Jax.
I mean,
hopefully Asuka comes out alive. That's all I guess we should.
If it wasn't for Tamina, Nia Jax would be, actually Nia Jax probably gets more shit than isn't not Nia Jax. I mean, there's wrestlers in the company who want her gone.
Right. I think Tamina's like harmlessly bad, whereas Nia Jax is like bad and also hurting everybody around her. So
yeah. So does Asuka she has an aura, but is she a legitimate shooter? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, there's probably someone that can answer that for us, but I guess, but yeah, I don't know. She acts like a shooter, but I don't know if I don't know if she could shoot. If she
that's what I mean.
So.
Is she a trained fighter? I don't know the answer to that. I know that obviously she's a tough woman. I mean, she got slapped around by Minoru Suzuki. She's worked very stiff matches in her career, but is she a trained fighter? Because I'm curious if Nia Jax stiffs the wrong person if things could get ugly,
right?
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think she has an actual fighting background, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Someone can maybe let us know about that. But all right, so that's another match, Joe. Speaking of Bruce Pritchard's startling SmackDown television show, Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. Sheamus has framed Jeff Hardy and gotten Jeff Hardy arrested for a DUI because he said that Jeff Hardy hit Elias with a car and he sprayed alcohol over Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
And it's I can't believe it's fucking June 2020 and we're talking about Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, a company that has signed everybody. They've signed every major United States talent except for Will Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. And on fucking June 2020, I have to talk about a Jeff Hardy Sheamus match.
And it's based on Jeff Hardy's real life issues.
Right. And not oh, well, that happened 20 years ago and he's moved on. No, literally the stuff that people make fun of WCW about of making fun of Scott Hall or using Scott Hall's alcoholism in a storyline, they're doing right now.
This is Hawk climbing the Titantron.
Right? What are we doing? God damn it.
Oh, I mean, the guy's not even. Are we even sure that he's defeated alcoholism?
No, I don't think so. He had a DUI fucking 3 months ago, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not particularly worked up about it. I am of the school of thought that if Jeff Hardy's okay with it,
right? I just find it just fucking stupid. It's just.
But do you have to do it? I mean, can't you do something else? Right? You just do something else.
October 2019, he was arrested and charged.
Yeah. So just do something else. Do a different stuff. Do you have to do that? You know, it's just that's where I come from with it.
Yeah. WWE Women's Tag Team titles, Joe. Bayley and Sasha Banks defending their titles against Alexa and Nikki Cross, as well as the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce.
Yeah, the Iconics are back in the mix.
Thank God.
Let me ask you a question.
I hope they win this match. I hope they win this match so badly.
With Bayley and Sasha back with the titles and everything, they are the champions coming in.
Correct. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. Unless they've lost them on the SmackDown that we're not watching, then yes.
Are you into these titles again, or you're still out?
I'm still out because it's still this company, so I can't have any faith that they're gonna like just have good. I mean, it's certainly better that it's Bayley and Sasha Banks than the Iconics, but or even Alexa and Nikki, but I just can't have any real confidence in anything that they do right now. So
remember how pumped we were about these titles?
They were great. They were great for a while, yeah. And
they were going to go to every brand and defend them, and we were super excited. We spent Flagship real estate talking about it.
Wait, a waste of time.
We were like, they're going to go to NXT. They're going to go to NXT and face Zaya Brookside and Candy Floss, and it's going to rule.
Don't know if that's an exact quote, but yes, so similar to that, yeah.
It's the first two I thought of. And it's like,
Candy Floss and Zaya Brookside were the first two people you thought of.
What do you want from me? I'm going to tell you what was pretty good, though. NXT UK, as you know, is like completely shut down. So they've been doing like best of shows.
Right. I love a good best of NXT UK.
No,
best of Gallus. I saw there was a best of Gallus this week too.
There was a best of Gallus, but some of them are cool. Like it'll be like Walter's favorite matches, right? And it's like Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask from MSG.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. All right. Well, now I'm gonna watch.
They're sneaky good, but wedged in between all of the best ofs and compilations that they've been doing to kill time. Like they did a history of like one show is devoted to the history behind Walter and Tyler Bate. Now, obviously you can only get the WWF matches, right? But you know, the promos and people talking about, but they did wedged in between. They did a show with NXT UK lost tapes, just matches from tapings that they never aired or whatever. And it's awesome. I mean, if people are looking for something to watch, I'm not like fucking with you either. Like it's got Matt Riddle versus Ligero. It's got Tony Storm title defense against Deonna Purrazzo. It has I know this isn't a great sell so far, but the matches and there's two really other great matches. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but it's just matches that they never ended up airing for whatever reason from over the years. But what even made me talk about that? Oh, Candy Floss. Yeah. Oh, there's a really great Shayna Baszler versus you're not going to know, and this is going to be terrible, but she's real pale and she does like the goth gimmick and she stinks. What the hell?
I don't know.
No, you do. Oh shit, I have to know this now. But it's the best match of that girl's career, and she's horrible, but Baszler just has this awesome match with her. I have to know now. But anyway, point is you still don't care about the women's tag team titles, even though they're back on Sasha and Bayley.
It helps, but it's still this company, so it's hard to get super excited about anything. So,
how do I spell Baszler? SZ?
Yes, SZ.
I never get that right on the first try. There's two that I never get right on the first try: Shayna Baszler and Tommaso Ciampa.
I've never once gotten to how many M's are there? Never, ever once have I correctly predicted the amount of M's in Tommaso Ciampa. Ever.
The M's and the S's, man. It's like I never get them right. I'm gonna find this Baszler opponent in NXT UK. It was a title defense. It was against Isla Dawn. There you go. You still are not.
Oh yeah, she stinks. Yeah,
she's pale and
she's terrible.
She stinks.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this match and Shayna Baszler. Look, she's not like she's got her flaws too. And I saw this and I'm like, this can't be good. God, did that fucking rock. I mean, she was just grapple fucking her and slapping her around and putting her in holds. And I'm telling I can't believe I'm recommending an Isla Dawn match.
You are. Shayna Baszler, Isla Dawn or whatever.
It was good. The whole show was good. Even though like one opponent in each match doesn't sound so hot, it was a really good like compilation show.
And then we have U.S. Championship match, the Heyman special here. Apollo Crews defending the title against Andrade. Again, if they didn't tape Raw the next day, I could see this match just getting wiped from existence and just never, ever speaking it again and just Big Show coming out with the U.S. title or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, these are undoubtedly two Heyman guys.
Yeah, put a pin in these guys and see where they're at in 2 weeks.
we'll see which ones have gotten over with Vince and which ones haven't, basically. I feel bad for Apollo Crews because this push is so new.
Oh, we just started, yeah.
And he waited so long, and it might be it for him. Now, Andrade and Garza were pushed so strong for so long that I think they might be safe. Again, it's hard to tell without fans, but they've done great work. I mean, you could argue that they've been the glue of Raw for a long time. And then Austin Theory got in the mix, but they broke him off and put him with Seth Rollins. I mean, they think Austin Theory is going to be a big star. I mean, and it's very obvious in the ways that they're using them too. But you make a good point. We'll see which of these guys, fall off.
So that's somebody Backlash 2020.
That sounds horrendous. That's the whole
fucking
show.
Terrible show. If you guys are curious, I don't think I'm going to do an instant reaction for that show. I don't really even want to watch this show.
Well, the word from the greatest match ever is that it's really long with lots of selling.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
How bad does that sound?
It does not sound fantastic. So I don't know. We'll see how Sunday goes, but don't anticipate an instant reaction live for the Backlash 2020. So
we got to review it either here or there. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just don't want to promise it. Like if I get halfway through the show and I just think, fuck, I hate this. You'll know. You'll know sometime during the weekend if we're going to do an instant reaction for it. So, like right now after just reading that card, I don't want to, but things might change on Sunday. So we'll see. What a card! They've signed every American talent, every UK talent. And this is what we have. Listen to that show. That's terrible. That's an awful show. It's a terrible wrestling show. How is it this bad?
It's almost so bad that it's intriguing. Almost. But it isn't even so bad that it's intriguing.
Right.
Who the fuck wants to sit through Miz and Morrison versus Braun? I mean, why would you want to watch that? I don't know. Let's move on. There's so much stuff to talk about.
I know.
Why are we getting bogged down in this?
Absolutely.
So.
Any quick before we leave WWE land here? TakeOver Fallout. We wanted to talk briefly about the Charlotte now officially done in NXT. We talked about it at length on the Instant Reaction Live for NXT in your house. voicesofwrestling.com/Patreon, patreon.com/Voices of Wrestling. And I think one of the highlights there is the epiphany that you had that maybe we've all been addressing or thinking about the Charlotte Rhea Ripley thing the wrong way. Do you want to kind of bring that back a little bit for folks that maybe have not listened to the Instant Reaction Live? Which, why haven't you? Come on, what are you doing? Voice Wrestling.
Yeah.
Patreon.
My point there, as I burp.
Good God.
Live radio, man.
Like I would have edited that out anyway. Nah, fuck that.
I haven't eaten since breakfast, and you know what I had? You know what I had at 8:30 in the morning? Buffalo chicken fingers.
Oh, what? Why? Where?
I don't know. I had buffalo chicken fingers.
Like freezer? Or out of the freezer? Or did you go somewhere and get these?
Air fryer, baby.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well,
air fryer.
Can't hate you for that. That sounds pretty good, actually.
But it is a little rough in the morning,
Yeah, I can't eat that kind of food in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird how your brain sort of puts different meals. Like, it shouldn't matter, to be honest. Like, it should. Like, you should just be able to eat buffalo chicken at 8 a.m. and it'd be fine. But, like, your brain is just like, nah, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I can't. This is not... I need to be eating something. But, like, breakfast food is kind of the same deal. It's just, like, for whatever reason, it just feels different. I don't know why.
Feels different. Like, I won't crack open a Coke Z unless it's at least 11 a.m.
Right. Oh, yeah. You're ridiculous if you're drinking at 7 a.m. You're drinking a soda. But, like, it really... Why? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's the same. It
shouldn't matter. But when I look in the fridge, I'm like, it's not appropriate. I got to have an orange juice. I got to have some water. I will not crack it open till 11. I won't do it. It doesn't feel right. But so that's why, the buffalo chicken fingers, I mean, it was a weird, that's all I've eaten all day. Another development in the Lanza house, I got to tell you this real quick too. New shower head. Rich, I'm taking showers like 9 times a day.
Yeah. It's a life-changing experience. Yeah. Get yourself a good shower head. Yeah.
It's like melting the skin off of my back, and I love every second of it. It's such an experience. Man, because you don't realize how bad your shower head is
until you get a new one. Yeah. You always think, nah, my shower head's fine. Then you get a new one. You're like, man, what have I been doing?
Like, how was I even getting soap off of my body with the other shit? It's incredible, But, yeah, that's what's going on in the Lanza.
Wow, fun, exciting times. Air fryer and new shower head, man.
And buffalo chicken fingers for breakfast, because I do what I want, man. I'm a grown man. If I want buffalo chicken fingers for breakfast, that's what I'm going to do.
Right, absolutely.
What were we talking about? Oh, so Charlotte, the epiphany. Yeah. So we're all approaching this like, what the fuck are they doing to Rhea Ripley? She keeps losing to Charlotte. She's cutting promos, curled up in a ball in the corner crying, saying that Charlotte's too good for her. Why do they think this is going to get Rhea Ripley over? And then as we're doing the show, it just hit me, Rich, because they're not trying to get Rhea Ripley over. They're trying to get Charlotte over. It's all about Charlotte. It has nothing to do with Rhea. Rhea is just another stepping stone for Charlotte. And when you look at Vince McMahon's MO, we had someone a very important power player in the business, saw that take or heard that take or whatever, swooped into the DMs and said, you guys are exactly right. It's 100% all about Charlotte. It's a very astute observation. And you made a very good point in that conversation that we had with a very high-ranking power player in the business. Doesn't get much higher than that, right, Rich?
Oh, no, absolutely.
You made a very astute point. You said we saw the same thing with Braun a couple of years ago, where Braun was on the precipice, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't. It was like, what are they doing with Braun? This isn't going to get him over. Because the idea wasn't to get Braun over. It was all about Roman and the Roman train. And nothing's going to stop the Roman train at the expense of potentially making a new star. And this is the same thing on a smaller scale. Because I don't think Rhea is where Braun was. But she could have been eventually, especially if she wins a feud versus Charlotte. And we wasted a lot of breath talking about maybe Rhea will beat Charlotte later or beat her on Raw or whatever. But now Charlotte's not even, as we suspected that night, but now we know for sure, she's not even on NXT anymore. She exits stage left without Rhea ever getting that win back. And she lost the title without taking a fall. It was always about pushing Charlotte. They brought Charlotte to NXT to beat Rhea Ripley for the benefit of Charlotte. And none of this was ever going to be for the benefit of Rhea Ripley. And she's never getting that win back. And if she does, it won't mean anything by the time she does. So that was the big epiphany that we talked about behind the paywall, with the added effect of the new information now that Charlotte is officially gone from NXT. Which Triple H can say on conference calls all he wants, that eventually it's going to pay off and let it play out. They haven't earned the right to tell us to let it play out.
Hell no, they haven't.
And I don't care if Rhea shows up on Raw and continues the feud and beats her on some B pay-per-view that nobody's watching. They already missed the window. They missed the window in Rhea beating Charlotte in a meaningful manner. They missed it. And we're not going to relitigate what we did behind the paywall. You go listen, but we get into those details. But I think that's an important point to make, that this was never about Rhea. And that's why it seems so absurd and crazy. But if you view it through the other lens, if you view this feud as a way to get Charlotte over, it looks brilliant and perfect.
Exactly. We talked about, and again, like going back to the Braun thing, longtime listeners of this show know the Roman train we always used to do. You had a little sound effect that you would always do during it, is we would say, everybody is looking at this wrong. Everybody is looking at, well, they're not doing enough for Braun, or why is Braun doing this? Why is Braun? No. That's not the point. The point is Braun gets built up to a certain level so the Roman train can come by and run him over. And that's what it always was. And there was many other guys. Braun's just the one that I remember most vividly, but there were many other guys in that wake too, that we always think of this in the way that we maybe should think of it, as like, well, how is this getting a new star over? And it's like, it's not. It's getting the old star more over in their brain. Charlotte winning another title to add to her catalog, showing that she belongs in NXT, to prop up NXT ratings, to do that sort of stuff. Now she wins the title, wins the Rumble, does all that sort of stuff, loses without getting pinned, bounces, and she's done. And we're all wondering, oh my God, what are they doing? Well, think of it in the lens of, we want Charlotte to win another title and boost NXT ratings. That's what it was. Ripley just happened to be the champion at that time. And 22-year-old, mega star in the waiting, be damned, who gives a shit? We got to get Charlotte another title, and she needs to increase NXT ratings.
Well, Ripley was someone who she hadn't beaten yet, so it was fresh meat. And it was fresh meat that was over and a threat, and it was an impressive win for Charlotte. And you were going to say something about the ratings.
Well, I just said, the idea was Charlotte comes in here, helps the ratings because she's a huge star. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And she wins the title because we need to have her have as many titles as possible so that eventually we can say she's an 18-time champion, and then she wins her 19th, and oh my God, she has more than her father. And then we move on. And yeah, once you think of it through that lens, it all makes sense. It might not, it makes sense in their warped logic. It might not make sense to you and I, but like, we're all looking at it the wrong way. We're looking at it as Rhea Ripley is being pushed to the next star. Io Shirai is being rewarded for her years of hard work. That's never what it was. It's Charlotte comes in, Charlotte's the focus, Charlotte runs this mega star in the waiting, potentially over, beats her, and she goes back to her on her merry way to the Raw or SmackDown. That's it.
Yeah. When, good booking would be Charlotte comes down there and has a awesome feud with Rhea, and Rhea benefits from it and wins in the end. And it doesn't hurt Charlotte at all. But now you have possibly made a star. But as we talked about at the top, they don't know how to make stars anymore. No clue. They think they have stars and then treat them like stars, but they don't get anyone over to that point to where, like the reality is they're not stars. This is like, and this started with Randy Orton. Randy Orton was never a major star.
Right, but they just, from 2004 on, have just said, this guy's a star.
They
like, literally said it. Like, literally on commentary, this guy's a big star. He's such a big star. Look how big of a star this guy is.
Yep. They view him as one. They treat him as one. They've convinced themselves that he's one, but he's never a big star. There's no metric that will tell you that Randy Orton was ever the level of star that they think he is. And he was the first, and now Charlotte's the latest, and there's been a bunch in between. They just feel like if they constantly tell you someone's a star, that they're going to be one. And that's not true. It's not true. You can't just, because that's how their marketing works. They just pound things into your brain over and over, and a lot of times that works. But it doesn't work in terms of portraying someone as a star. That's a different animal. You can get catchphrases and slogans over and things like that by constantly pounding it into people's brains, but it'll never work. Constantly telling someone's a star, that will never work. You have to legitimately be a star. You can't just say someone is over and over and have it magically happen. But anyway, I think we should move on from WWE.
Absolutely. Thank God. All right. Let's move on here. Joe, New Japan Pro Wrestling is back. They officially announced the New Japan Cup launching June 16th, running through July 11th. That will be the final in July 11th at Osaka Joe Hall. 1/3 capacity for the Osaka Joe Hall thing. But yeah, what do you think overall of, we'll talk about it, a little bit of the actual tournament itself, but big picture idea, big picture thoughts. New Japan Cup is back. New Japan is back. Empty arenas until the final night, when they're going to have, obviously in Osaka Joe Hall, but what are your thoughts on everything going on there?
I'm honestly just as excited for that Mystery Vortex show that they're doing first. I don't know if you mentioned that, but they're doing a show. Oh, sorry,
no, I did not. But yeah, they're doing like a who the fuck knows what's going to happen on this day type show thing, which is cool.
And I think with no fans is the perfect time to do shows like that, because it's kind of been proven over time that the mystery opponent, mystery show gimmick doesn't necessarily draw as well as you think it would. But in front of no fans, who cares? Do it, right? Because you're not dependent on that. And just the name of the show, what's it called? Like All Together or Together or
yeah. Let me get the. It's not All Together, but yeah. Let me find out exactly the
name of the show implies that there could be outside talent on the show. And if you remember,
Together Project. Sorry, not to interrupt.
Together Project. So if you remember, Tanahashi talked about how Japanese wrestling needs to come together, and Okada talked about facing guys from other companies during COVID. There's a possibility that this will involve outside talent. I don't want to hype myself up too much. But based on all that talk and based on the name of the show, I kind of have it in my head that we're going to see like a joint promotional kind of thing with this mystery card. And that would be really cool. Who you don't know who could come out of that. Kaito Kiyomiya comes out from that curtain, and then he eats a Rainmaker from Okada and lights Twitter on fire. Right. God, I would love to see that just to see Twitter. But who knows? So I'm excited about that. As far as the New Japan Cup goes, at first, I was bummed that they're doing empty arena shows. I thought they held out longer than anyone. They're going to make it special when they come back. They're going to do it in front of fans. The more I think about it, the more on board I am. The tournament looks great. I think they did a great job under the circumstances of using all native talent. keeping the brackets the way they were initially, but just plugging different names in for the guys who couldn't show up, which tells you that they're sticking to whatever original booking plan they had, at least to some extent. So that's good. So yeah, we'll see what these empty arena shows look like. It'll be 4 tournament matches and 1 additional match on each show. And we'll see how they handle it. We all know that some companies have done very well. Some companies haven't. I hope they keep the matches short. That seems to be the winning formula. The last thing we need is 40-minute New Japan main events in front of no fans. No thanks. Let's keep these neat and tidy, 8 to 10 minutes, please. Maybe the main event goes 12 or 15. That's all we need. Okay, plus their tournament matches on top of that. So I'm curious to see how they handle that. And then we'll get Osaka, the Osaka building with, keeping every other or 2 seats empty in between each fan, whatever the case may be. I think that's stupid. I mean, I don't want to get into a COVID thing, but if you're putting that many people in a building, what the fuck is the difference if you put,
Right. Well, I always say, like, the thing that, yeah, it's good in principle to do that, but what happens when the show is over and everyone's walking in the same hallways?
Exactly.
You've already ruined that. Because people always say, oh, well, they can do these baseball stadiums and they could put, a person in every seat, or, 3 guys in a, 3 people in a row. And I'm like, yeah, but like, if I'm waiting in line for the bathroom or waiting in line for beer, or I'm walking out of the building, like I'm right next to people then. So unless you want to say, okay, section 103, please leave. And like, section 103. Okay, section 103 at their cars. Okay. All right. Section 102. Like, you're not going to do that. So it only matters in it's very much a look thing and a PR thing than it is. Like, in actuality, you don't really care that much about it, because you would just say no crowds then at all.
It's total PR. It's negligibly safer. I mean, okay, so I don't have someone sitting a foot from me. I have them sitting 4 feet from me. What the fuck is the difference? You're going to be leaning over. You're all in the same building. You're all touching shit. It's just such PR, but it's whatever. It'll be a good atmosphere because there's going to be a couple thousand people in the building. I'm hyped for it. And I don't have any predictions or anything like that. We don't really have time to do a big prediction show where we're picking brackets. And quite honestly, we talked about it off air, and I agree with what you told me. New Japan has been off my radar for so long that I don't even have a real good feel for this.
I don't know my fastball anymore. It's like, I don't know. Like Ishii, who fucking knows, man. I just want to see guys wrestle. I'm kind of looking forward to this. Like, normally when we do these, we're like, okay, we have to intricately break it down and say, okay, this guy's clearly winning and that guy, and it's like, I just kind of feel like I'm going to put my feet up and just be like, whoever, man, whatever, who cares?
I don't want to think too hard about it.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't want to solve the riddle. It's kind of like when the G1 comes around and everybody instantly looks at the last 3 nights to figure out.
Right.
I try not to do that because I want to like experience it, but I don't want to solve this riddle. So I know that the matches look super intriguing. We can break down each day really quick if you want to just give me the first round matches and then quick thoughts.
Yeah, let's do that. I do want to say John Carroll at voicesofwrestling.com, incredible preview.
Awesome.
Just ungodly amount. It's like way more words than we would ever need about the New Japan Cup, but it is much appreciated. I mean, breakdowns of every single wrestler, breakdowns of the history of the New Japan Cup, level, some predictions here and there. Just incredible stuff by John over at voicesofwrestling.com. So make sure you read that.
Top of the line shit. Subscribe to the Omakase Patreon too.
Yes, yeah, Wrestling Omakase on Patreon too. You can find it. We'll put a link in the description as well. So you can.
Craich is going to be on there.
I am going to be on there. Yeah, doing the little 5-match gimmick. So
get the Plug-a-Roo in there. Come on.
We don't know. We haven't figured it all out yet. We don't know our final matches yet. Those haven't been up for vote yet. But I'm going to be there. Patreon, Wrestling Omakase's Patreon. Well, Alan, he booked Alan before me, so or John booked Alan before me, so that's kind of a.
I got booked on a free show, so you guys are ahead of me.
I'm on the paid. Yeah, well, John, they Alan
they know where the money's paid,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
All right. I'm a certified draw. I don't care what anybody says, but that's fine. I'm not insulted. At least I was the first free show. Like, I came out of the gate with the new concept.
That's true. The new concept was you, so that is. I
always use the role of that. That is very strategic. Very strategic.
They know what they're doing. Yeah, John knows.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, so they're smart. All right. Let's go. So again, preview, voiceofwrestling.com, incredible New Japan Cup preview by John Carroll there. So we'll start out Tuesday, June 16th, first round matchups. Togi Makabe, Yota Tsuji, Tomohiro Ishii, El Desperado, Toru Yano, Jado, Tomoyaki Hanma versus Hiromu Takahashi. So interesting that this is an open weight tournament as well. So there will be some juniors in there.
Hold on, I wasn't paying attention. Hold on, let me pull up the sheet. I'm not going to make you read it.
All right, that's fine.
I'll tell you if anything looks enticing to me here. It's on the run sheet.
It is, yes. They're also on Wikipedia, so.
All right, so Makabe versus Tsuji. That's the one you're doing?
Yes, yeah.
16th, right?
Yes. What were you paying attention to?
I was just not.
When's the last time you heard me? When do you want me to restart?
I was drifting off. I don't know what happened. We do a long show, man. You can't tell me you're on top of every word.
No,
I
God,
say.
no. Yeah, I'm scrolling and shit.
All right. Makabe Tsuji. I don't know about that one. Ishii Desperado looks awesome. Yano Jado looks like one of the worst matches you could possibly put together in New Japan. And Hanma versus Hiromu. I mean, if this were 4 or 5 years ago, well, that wouldn't work either. It's almost like when Hiromu came back, Hanma had the broken neck. Like, it never really lined up. But, unlike a video game or in a fantasy world, that could have been a really awesome match in another place and time.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the 16th. There's some fun matches there. The Hiromu Hanma, like you said, like imagine how cool that match would have been if both men were in there. But yeah, it's so tough with.
I think there's exactly one fun match there. Ishii Desperado.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was gonna say Togi Makabe to Tsuji, but
you really fired up for Makabe. I mean,
not really. Yeah, that's that. He has probably been eating a lot of desserts over the last 3 months. So I'm not too. I'm very curious who shows up. Like, I'm very curious who shows up not looking, looking tights.
True.
Yeah, I'm always, who's got their Sean Kemp, post lockout body going. So.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll be into all these matches, but I'm just saying that might be the weakest card.
Yeah. That's not great. Wednesday, June 17th, also first round matchup. Okada Gato, baby. Let's go right out of the gates. This show rules.
That's going to be awesome.
Nagata Suzuki. That sounds great. Uemura versus Kanemaru sounds awesome. And then Gabriel Kidd, Taiji Ishimori.
Okay, so the interesting thing here is we're going to get a Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Taiji Ishimori second round match. Those two guys have that deep history where Ishimori has never defeated Kanemaru. So that is a real interesting second round match. And they're obviously going to beat the young lion opponents and move on. And then you got Nagata Suzuki, which could be awesome. And Okada Gato, which is obviously thick with history.
Yeah, that's going to be.
This is a good. It's a good region. It's a good region, Rich.
Good region, absolutely. Monday, June 22nd, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Taichi. Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr. Nice, right there.
Fucking A.
Ryusuke Taguchi versus Sonata, and Sho versus Shingo. My God, it's so good to have like good professional wrestlers and good, none of this bullshit that we've had to watch and pretend is good. Like, it's all just great.
God, it feels good.
You know what I mean? We're not talking about these shitbag, Japanese indie guys that stink and look like shit anymore. It's just like,
and trying to make the best of it.
Right. Like, I appreciated what we tried to do, but like fucking Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr. Like, you know what I mean? Let's go. We're back.
We're getting Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr. and Sho versus Shingo. This is big boy wrestling, Rich. It's big boy wrestling. This is not 2AW and Little Empty Build. This is big boy wrestling now. You make a good point. I was fired up for Hartley Jackson versus Chris Weiss.
Right, which is fine. I'm glad we were, but now we're playing big boy. Now we're in the major leagues again here. So
Rich, this is New Japan Pro Wrestling. Rich, get into it. This is New Japan Pro Wrestling.
John Carroll wanted to clarify 11-0-1 for Kanemaru all time.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, the guy never beat him.
John's just giving you the official numbers.
How am I wrong? I say he never beat him.
You're not. I'm just saying that's the numbers. I'm just maybe not clarify is the wrong term.
It's not a correction. Okay.
It's not a correction. It's you
can't do that to me when I'm already fired up about it.
Support. Yeah, support for your
Okay. All right. Apologies.
Yes. And by the way, the link patreon.com/wrestlingomakase. So if you want the official link there. So that's what we're doing.
Enough of plugging that.
Yeah, John's had enough.
No more plugs. No more plugs. Let's go. Let's move it along.
Tuesday, June 23rd. Tenzan Yoshihashi. Oh boy. Yo versus Bushi. Kojima versus Evil, and Goto versus Yujiro Takahashi. Yeah. That's a rough day. That's not a good one.
No, it's not as bad as the first region though. Because Yo Bushi could be all right. Kojima Evil could be all right. Tenzan's is finished. That's going to be bad. And Goto Yujiro. It depends, what kind of Yujiro shows up. But there's some good second round. There's some good later tournament. Look, we can get Goto Kojima.
You're right.
Which would be excellent. But I think Kojima's going to lose to Evil. But Evil Goto would be good too.
Yeah, exactly. So then we go to the second round real quickly here. We can just kind of maybe do a basic predictions or basic sort of, hey, this would be really cool if this happened. Wednesday, June 24th, the winner of Makabe and Tsuji, obviously Makabe, versus Ishii and Desperado. I imagine that'd be Ishii, so Makabe, Ishii, fine. Down for that.
Yeah.
Yano probably beating Jado. I'd say a real hot take there that Jado won't get the victory here against the winner of Hanma and Hiromu, which I would hope would be Hiromu, but
it's kind of disappointing that Hiromu is facing Hanma and Yano.
I know. Well, I guess they're gently getting him back up to speed, I guess. But yeah, that's gonna be tough. Hopefully he beats Yano, moves on. Okada Gato winner again, hot take. I believe that will probably be Okada versus Nagata Suzuki winner. So that would be awesome. I mean, either one of those matchups, I'm pretty excited about. I'd like a good Okada Nagata match. It's been a while since we've had a good one like that. So, but I'm probably not gonna have.
I feel like we've seen Suzuki Okada more recently.
I know. I want Okada Nagata. Those were always real fun. So,
how many times have they wrestled each other?
I feel like it was one time a few years ago, or I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember enjoying the fuck out of it. No, remember it was like one of my I think I voted it top 10 match of the year. When the hell year was it? It was oh my god. Okay, don't people. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. Chat room. I'm looking it up.
Stay away from the chat room. It's just gonna depress you.
I'm looking it up. Luckily, they're on a little bit of a delay, so it's even worse because we've already answered it and moved on, and then people are like, "Nagata, the G1." It's like, so all right. It was oh Jesus! When you type Okada, it gives me every single tag match. Click. Thank you. Cage match. 2015. Okada defeated Nagata. 18 minutes 14 seconds. That's it. That's the only time they've been in a singles match.
Yeah, I couldn't remember
that.
Yeah, that's the match you want then. Absolutely.
All right. Then we have Uemura Kanemaru, of course, versus Ishimori. So yeah, Kanemaru Ishimori, that'll be fantastic on that night. So that region is so good that Wednesday, June 24th has potential to be, other than your Yano, Hiromu thing. Be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, you got at least Okada Suzuki, Okada Nagata, and then Kanemaru Ishimori. So that sounds awesome. Wednesday, July 1st, you have Tanahashi and Taichi winner versus Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. winner. So God, I hope we get Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Joe.
Are you there?
I am here, yes.
I pumped my fist and disconnected my headset.
That'll happen.
And I thought I got knocked off, but I guess
excited.
All right,
so excited. I heard some rustling going on there, but what do you think of Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., man? That's a match that even after 4 months of no New Japan, I still don't want to see again.
Why do you? Oh, you think they're so?
No, I'm saying I hope that's not the way they go. I hope they go Tanahashi Ibushi, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, because my headset got knocked out of the socket, but I want Tanahashi Ibushi, yeah, absolutely. But a lot of people are picking Taichi as the big upset because it is New Japan Cup.
That's true. Yeah, I don't hate that.
There's not a lot of spots for big upsets because of the nature of this one with the juniors and the young lions. So that's the one people have circled as the big upset, which would be very disappointing, but also understandable.
And then we have also on that July 1st, Taguchi Sonata winner versus Sho and Shingo winner as well. So that sounds, Shingo Sonata I'd be down for. That'd be pretty cool if that happened. But
is Sonata still the favorite to win the tournament?
Right. I don't know. We're not doing our pick'em right now, so I can't say for sure. I don't have. Yeah, this is where I'm like, people are probably expecting us to say, okay, book it. This guy's the winner. But like, my brain hasn't even thought that way. Usually when these come around, my brain is immediately, okay, pick who's going to win, think who's going to win, break down every single match. I kind of just want to watch it and just turn my brain off in a weird way. Like, I can't wait to react to these matches and talk about everything that's going on. But I just kind of feel like you said, I just kind of want to not necessarily disconnect, but just sort of put my feet up and enjoy it.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I have that feeling for this and don't usually have that feeling. But yeah, I like, my brain isn't in, okay, who's going to win this mode. Like you said, Sonata's the favorite. I'm like, I guess. I don't know. Probably.
But Shingo has to beat Sho again because he's a heavyweight now. So I don't see Sho beating Shingo. But my God, that could be a great match.
Yeah.
I think Shingo is an ideal empty arena wrestler because he goes so hard. And he's go.
Yeah, it makes a lot of noise too. There's just noise emanating from him as he's attacking people. Yeah, I agree.
And he's hard hitting and all that. So I have high hopes for that. And then I guess we'll get Shingo and Sonata, right? If they go down that path.
Which would be equally cool as well. The Tenzan Yoshihashi winner versus Yo and Bushi. I could get a little.
Well, we're getting at least one junior through, and it looks like Yoshihashi's going to the quarterfinals quarterfinals, right? So.
And then the Kojima Evil winner versus Goto Yujiro, like you said, some interesting matchups there. But yeah, Goto and Kojima sounds fucking great. But
let's just get Yujiro out of there.
Yeah, right. I agree.
And
any other scenario is okay. Goto Evil's fine. Kojima Goto is fine. No, I'm not really down for Yujiro versus Evil. That doesn't sound very fun. So,
and then Goto is always a threat in the New Japan Cup.
Absolutely, yeah. What is he, a 5-time New Japan Cup winner? So.
Yeah, so and really any tournament, Goto's a threat to go far.
Yeah.
I mean, he can threaten in a G1, go to a G1 final. I think his days of winning the G1 are over, but he's definitely a guy who could be a factor in a block in a G1, or he can go 4-6.
Right.
But he can be a factor in a block at any time and even go. He went to a final against Kenny Omega
not that long ago. Yeah. Three-time winner for Goto. So
of the New Japan Cup.
The New Japan Cup. Yeah. Want to clarify
won a G1, at least one G1 too, for sure. So always a threat in these tournaments.
Then July 2nd is going to be all 4 quarterfinal matches. July 3rd, semifinal matches. And then, like you said, we're taking a break. July 11th, Osaka-jo Hall, 1/3 capacity. 7 to 9 matches for that event, including the New Japan Cup final. And then the next night, also in Osaka-jo Hall, Dominion is back. Joe, they're not. July 12th, man. This is already. It feels like a long time away, but it's not. We're already there. We're back.
No, these matches start in a couple days. Yeah. The thing is, it's like I like that they're small cards until they get to Joe Hall, so they're not drowning us with 9 match cards until we get there.
That shows me that they know the Empty Arena game a little bit more. That they don't need 9 matches. They don't need 7 matches shows. No bullshit 6-man. There's probably gonna be 1 6-man on every single show. That's fine. I get it. Yeah, we don't have to sit through an hour and a half of 6-mans to get to the cup stuff. Just give us the stuff that matters. Give us one other showcase match and move on. And like you said, let's hope and pray that New Japan has sort of watched what other companies have done, what companies have been successful with, what companies have kind of failed with, and just says, okay, short matches, quick, get to the point, all action, and get out of there. Don't get too long in the tooth. So,
yeah, for sure. I should also note I will be doing daily audio behind the paywall.
There it is. Look at that.
Just like the G1 audio, I will be doing New Japan Cup audio, $5 tier. That's the $5 tier. Daily New Japan Cup audio, breaking down every single show, just like I do the G1. Format a little different because you don't have standings or anything like that. But the important thing is I'll be reviewing the shows every day starting on the 16th. It's a nice, manageable schedule. You got 2 days in a row, like 4 days off, 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row rather, then like 6 or 7 days off. So it's very manageable. I looked at the schedule. It's nothing like the G1 schedule where it's like I'm just begging for the day off, because just trying to find the time to do the audio or whatnot. And, the energy levels suffer when there's like 3 or 4 shows in a row. But this is manageable, and I will be doing daily audio probably up until where are these? Okay, so up to the 3rd is the Empty Arena stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll go right to the semifinals because that's a little 4-match show, 2 semifinals and 2 non-tournament matches. So I'll go all the way to July 3rd.
There it is. And then July, like
the Osaka-jo Hall stuff we'll do on this show.
Right, absolutely. We'll do on this show, or we'll see what happens. We'll see how the weekends go. We have the ability for instant reactions. So if we're feeling like we want to get up early and watch this stuff, I'm fucking excited. Like you said, you're pumping fists and unplugging headsets and stuff. It's big boy ball now. It's exciting.
But like the G1, we'll do the 2 big shows together. I won't do that behind the paywall. I'll do that for free, or maybe not for free, but with you. So whether it's instant reaction live or on the flagship. But okay, so that's the plan for New Japan.
Yeah, there it is. So yeah, again, John Carroll's piece, voiceswrestling.com. We will have reviews of all that stuff going on as well. So yeah, New Japan is back and Voices Wrestling is back too, man. It's like the site starts buzzing and starts humming. The ad dollars are coming in again. It's podcast sponsors hit us up. We're ready again. We're back. ZipRecruiter can't do it all on their own, or at all. So,
that's right. Or at all.
Yeah,
there haven't been ads. If you people haven't noticed, there haven't been ads on these shows in the COVID era. There's a reason for that. Everybody pulled their ads. So, hopefully New Japan coming back, get some numbers up, get some ads back. But I think it's more these companies don't have money right now.
No, God, no, nobody's got anything. So,
in addition to, podcast numbers, surprisingly across the board down. You would think podcast numbers would be up with people not having shit.
Yeah, I think it's commute. I think it's commute, man.
It's absolute commute.
I was not listening to podcasts when I was at home. I just wasn't. And now I've already, today I blew through 4 podcasts, commute, sitting at my desk, that sort of shit. You blow through podcasts. You don't even realize. Whereas when you're home, I'm watching stuff on TV. I'm watching YouTube. I'm watching All Japan. You know what I mean? I'm watching all that stuff in the background. Where, I'm driving for an hour and a half or an hour or 2 hours a day, basically. I'm listening to podcasts those entire times. And when I get to my desk, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to podcasts. So, yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it.
I got to tell you, I haven't looked at our numbers in a while because the numbers are bullshit. Podcast download numbers are just horse shit. Listen, podcast download numbers are whatever the host wants to tell the sponsors. It's I have no clue how many people listen to this. It's a joke. But I did glance at them out of curiosity when I read a couple articles saying podcast numbers were down. And at least what's being reported to us, even though we have to pull it from 19 different sources due to the nature of Red Circle. Not complaining about Red Circle. They've been a tremendous partner. But the 2 different feeds and YouTube, all that shit. We haven't really seen a decline. Have you been looking at the numbers?
Yeah. I've noticed, our YouTube numbers are about the same, and our podcast numbers have stayed pretty relevant. Again, that's another, I'd say, feather in our cap, at least from the numbers that we're given, is that, we've, I think, weathered the storm pretty well, and now we're entering a whole new phase. And I know Patreon numbers have been pretty good, so thank you guys for listening and sticking with us. But it speaks that we're good at this. People don't want to leave. We're appointment radio. These other dumb shit podcasts, fuck it, delete it. I'm not home or whatever, but Voice of Wrestling, man, you don't fuck around with that. You listen to that every single week.
Secretly sassy.
I'm just saying.
The YouTube numbers are insignificant.
Yeah, they don't matter at all. I just a good way to see about just to get an idea of how many people are. It's surprising how many people do listen though on YouTube, but yeah,
couple hundred a week. It's a drop in the bucket, but I was surprised how many people listen on YouTube, honestly. But the thing about YouTube is it's not about the listens on YouTube because it's never going to be a significant number, but it's a way to pick up new listeners if they just come across it in their algorithm or an autoplay.
Discovery that we want,
all that bullshit. But this is all behind the curtain shit that nobody cares about. Right. Or maybe they do. When people do behind the curtain shit on things I listen to, I'm always fascinated to see what their thought processes are and how they approach their shows or how they approach their business. But I think our people are champing at the bit. Is it champing or chomping?
Chomping. I believe it's chomping at the bit. Yeah.
You know what? I have always said and typed chomping. And that fucker, Rob McCarran, and I hope he's listening, but I don't think he is. I don't think he's listening. And if he does listen, I don't think he listens this deep into the show. But that fucker, Rob McCarran, corrected me on Twitter 6 years ago and said it was champing at the bit. And it has bothered me ever since. But I've never looked it up to see if it's champing or chomping. I think we're wrong, and it's champing.
I think we are. Yeah. So apparently it is champing, but people have just kind of said chomping, and chomp means the same thing. So you can use it, but the actual idiom is champing at the bit, and that is.
Didn't that come from horse racing?
I think so. Yeah.
Or horses, or fucking equine shit.
Equine shit. Yeah, I believe it is equine shit. Isn't that Hangman Page's? Sort of a chat next time I get to go to an AEW live show. Equine shit. Equine shit.
Yeah, equine shit. That fucking horse in the Stadium Stampede match still has me hot.
I don't know why.
What do you mean I don't know why? It's a horse in a wrestling match.
I'm Terry Funk out with a horse.
It's got me angry in a Jim Cornette way.
Yeah.
I'm so annoyed by that horse. It comes riding in on the horse.
Yeah, for years now you're going to talk about that. Yeah, that horse.
He was awesome on, speaking of podcasts, Hangman was great on the AEW gimmick with the referee and Shivani. What's her name? Aubrey Edwards.
Aubrey Edwards, yeah.
Was it Talking AEW? What's the name of that fucking show?
I don't listen to it, so I have no idea. But
Unrestricted?
I guess I should. It sounds good, yeah. All right.
Unrestricted.
Yeah, cool. That's what it is.
He was on Unrestricted. He was very good. Unrestricted's not bad, Rich. You should listen to that.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Can I tell you the ones to listen to? Listen to Hangman. I thought Taz was very good. They're all pretty good, though. None of them are duds.
Okay. Interesting.
But those are kind of the standouts. but they ask like decent questions, and it's not kayfabe or anything like that. I think that was the fear.
Oh, okay. So it's not. That's kind of why I never wanted to,
Me too. But then like I got bored and had listened to all my usual stuff, right? So I gave it a shot, and it wasn't kayfabe at all. I'll tell you what else is pretty good is the post show with Jim Ross, Taz, and Excalibur. That does get a little kayfabe. It's a mix, but those three guys are so good at mixing it. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't become intrusive or insulting the way when they mix in the kayfabe, and they drift away from it enough. Taz and Excalibur have incredible chemistry together, and it really comes through on that Dynamite post show. I mean, they have okay chemistry on Dark, but when they like rib each other and bounce off each other,
who
they
knew that those guys would be like the best friends in the world, man? They're just like you hear it on Dark a little bit too, but yeah, I'm interested to hear these podcasts. But yeah, it's just like two dudes like you never would have assumed Excalibur and Taz, but they're like riffing on each other and bouncing back and forth. Like the chemistry is unbelievable between Taz and Excalibur. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, they have tremendous chemistry, but for you or anyone else who hasn't listened to any of these, the post show gets a little kayfabe because they are breaking down Dynamite.
Yeah, sure, and that's okay with a little bit of when it's done with a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We know that you know what I mean. Like when it's not, there's a way to do the kayfabe on a podcast that's not like intrusive or lame or whatever. So
it's hard to explain, but they do a good job with the balance. It's just hard to articulate, but it isn't like I'm not rolling my eyes going, I can't listen to this fucking kayfabe shit. But the Unrestricted podcast is totally behind the curtain. It's no kayfabe at all. So Darby was surprisingly good on that. You think maybe he wouldn't be, I don't know, outgoing enough for that? Or
yeah. No, he is. He's a little out there, but he's definitely outgoing. He's just kind of wild.
And he was very honest about Evolve. I mean, he basically said, I was tired of killing myself, and then I'd look on social media and nobody's talking about the match.
Yeah.
And he said that was very frustrating for him. And, he was very honest about that scenario. And, his was very good too, because I think he was more open than I was expecting him to be. Because I didn't know personality wise how he would engage a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're well prepared. Some of the early ones were a little shaky and I almost gave up on it, but they found a groove, Shivani and Edwards. And I think they have a good chemistry too. They don't talk over each other, and they ask solid questions. And I didn't know this, but Aubrey Edwards is new to wrestling. Did you know that? She was a referee for only 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. She's famous for being the in the front row when Dan O'Brien was retiring. She's like the crying girl in the front row that everybody that famous image of the girl like holding back tears.
I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah, I think I legitimately found that out like 2 months ago. I was like, oh yeah, right. That does look like her. Oh, it is her. Okay. Yeah, but no, she's pretty new to it, but she gets it for sure.
But it's interesting because on the podcast, when people talk about old wrestling stories that me and you have heard a million times, famous matches or angles, a lot of it's new to her. So it's an interesting approach on a podcast because you're used to podcasts like ours with old grizzled assholes.
Yeah, right. Talking about fucking territory bullshit.
Yeah, we think we know everything, but like, Taz will tell some story about fucking ECW or something, and she's fascinated because she's never heard it or she doesn't know. And then she'll ask questions that we would never think to ask, but they're very intuitive questions that get interesting answers.
Got it. Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, because she doesn't know. But Shivani's there to kind of provide the experience side of it. So, anyway, we're plugging someone else's podcast.
Yeah, we're doing a really good job of plugging other people's shit.
That's twice on this show.
I know. What are we doing? VoicesWrestling.com/Patreon. VoicesWrestling.com/Patreon.
These aren't even on our network.
Right, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Anyway, production meeting. We've got about a half hour left, and we've got a lot of stuff to get to. Do you want to go bouncing around Japan? You want to talk about Game Changer? Maybe we can get 2 of these in.
Yeah,
Let's dump the AEW talk. It's not
that's fine. That we can talk about anytime. Yeah.
That was a last minute addition. We were going to break down FTR and Cornette, them on the Cornette show. Not do Cornette stuff because nobody cares, but their interview with Cornette and then their debut and their first couple appearances on AEW, and then talk a little bit about the Cody weekly TNT challenge stuff, but that's not vital. We can talk about that
There's a fun one. Reddit's gotten wind of.
It's public now, so we can talk about it.
Yeah. Next week's TNT match looks
Ricky
pretty fun.
Ricky Starks versus Cody. It wasn't supposed to leak, but they've got a mole at these shows because this is the same guy who leaked a lot of the Stadium Stampede information. And last night when they were taping the Cody Ricky Starks match, the post went up on Reddit and it was quickly taken down because it wasn't posted with spoilers or something. But then a couple hours later, someone was saying that they saw on Reddit that Ricky Starks had signed with AEW, and I immediately texted Ricky Starks to see if there was some validity to it, and he was like, "Well, this news to me. Am I getting a contract?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. It was just on Reddit." And then, he told me, he goes, "Listen, don't tell anybody, but I just got out of the ring. I just wrestled Cody for the TNT title." And I was like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome." But he hasn't signed a contract. They just brought him in for the TNT title match. So the Reddit post that said he signed a deal and wrestled Cody was half right. I think the person is just assuming that he also signed a contract because they're putting him on TV. To the best of my knowledge, at the time of this show, he has not signed a contract. But next week's Cody match is going to be Cody versus Ricky Starks. So that wasn't supposed to get out, but they got some kind of mole in that building.
Yeah. We were keeping it close to the vest, but then I looked on Reddit and it's there. So
I was keeping it close to the vest for like 15 minutes. I felt like a big shot for like 15 minutes. Right. And then it went back up on Reddit anyway. So it's like, all right, well now everybody knows. But I was just so excited. I think I told you came into your fucking, because I was like, I gotta tell somebody, but I can't tell anyone. But I have to tell someone. So I have to tell you're the only person I trust, Rich, with secret information like that. But we had a feeling something was cooking with Starks and AEW. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, that's good. So but we'll do the AEW stuff maybe next week in depth or something. So you want to bounce around Japan? You want me to set it up
let's
here?
Let's do GCW real quick because we could do that in literally 5 minutes and then we'll bounce around Japan here. So the GCW thing, as you mentioned, first major American indie to return to action. I'm sure there's some podunk random ass indies all across the country that have done something. I know there's one going on in Illinois, not far from me, which I don't think they're supposed to, but whatever. Anyway, but this thing, June 20th, Celebration Plaza Amphitheater in downtown Indianapolis. GCW is returning. The word on GCW Part 2. Nick Gage, Nate Webb, Blake Christian, Myron Reed, Alley Cat versus Effie, some other matches on the show as well. But that is June 20th, outdoor in Indianapolis. And I think the interesting part is the safety protocols that they were kind of telling people, just kind of give us an idea of what maybe the next wave of independent wrestling shows are going to be. This is outdoor. Obviously, I said, an amphitheater, outdoor, open-air venue. GA is standing room only, and fans can bring their own chairs to set up in a location of their choice. So it's just a big field, and there's going to be a ring in the middle of the field. You can sit wherever the hell you want. And the GA, ringside seating, 50% reduction in ringside seating, and stagger, so there's safe distance between, like you said, between people. But again, that only matters for when you're sitting in your chair. But once you get up and get in line for something, you've kind of already ruined that or whatever. Group seating, you may sit in a small group if tickets were purchased together. And Joe, they made a note here. There will be no fewer than 12 hand sanitizer stations on the premises. Does that mean there's going to be exactly 12 hand sanitizer stations on the premises? That means they bought 12 hand sanitizer stations, right?
Yeah.
Fewer than 10. Not more than 10. 10 or more. No fewer than 12 hand sanitizer stations on the premises. So.
Look, New Japan, Game Changer. I don't care about these companies running with fans as long as they're observing whatever the local laws are.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask. It doesn't matter whether I agree or not. As long as they're observing the local laws, I don't have a problem with it. They have a right to do it. They have a legal right to run these shows with fans if they want. I will say that GCW obviously is not my favorite promotion to watch. We've talked a million times how we both respect they're the biggest promotion in the company. They're the biggest indie in the country right now. You would agree with that, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
They run everywhere. They've done a great job. They know how to promote and market their product, even if it isn't necessarily for me. I enjoy some of their shows, but a lot of them, it's just not my style. But I will say that watching indie matches come across the Twitter timeline felt good. didn't the match announcements?
Yeah, there was
feel
graphics,
good?
and I was like, oh my god, what? There's matches, humans, people wrestling. People can see them wrestle. Yeah, it was. It got me excited again. This is a fun week.
And I think they're putting together a nice card for their audience. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some debuts as well, but yeah, Nick Gage
Sure.
and Nate Webb as your main attraction is good. Blake Christian, Myron Reed sounds awesome. Lee Moriarty, Trey Lamar, Calvin Tankman, I think are debuts as well, and a bunch of other matches that even haven't been announced yet. But that sounds awesome.
No plug-a-roo for the Alley Cat versus Effie, huh?
I think I mentioned Alley Cat versus Effie before, but yeah, that's
I don't think you did.
not a not a Voice of Wrestling Flagship podcast match, but for that audience, yes. So good for them.
Yeah, more of a BLP audience, but there's some crossover there, right? Game
Yeah.
changer. You think they're going to do the comedy? I mean, I don't even know why I'm
Yes,
asking.
Of course.
Now, if it were, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they are.
Yes, Alley Cat will have her belly rubbed or something like that. Who cares? Of course.
Effie can go.
Effie can go. Yeah, Effie's a good wrestler.
Effie can go. Effie is the Inspire Pro. He holds one of the two titles. I can't remember which one. And I think he was supposed to. I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect he was supposed to lose it WrestleMania weekend since he's not in Texas very often. So I know Justin Bissonnette is almost assuredly listening to this, so I'm sure he's going to text me. But I'm name dropping a lot with the text.
You are,
message.
yeah. Jesus Christ, that
But,
Lanza phone is blowing up all day.
But I mean, they got to find a way to get Effie back down to Texas to lose that fucking title now, because it would have been convenient to just lose it WrestleMania weekend, right? But I don't know for sure if that was the plan. But it looks like Effie's going to get himself another Texas loop out of it. Good for Effie.
Good, yeah, good for good.
Right?
Good.
Because I'm sure you could pick up a couple more promotions when you're down there. But Effie versus the Alley Cat, yeah. You didn't mention that one. I don't know why, Rich.
Yeah, I skipped right over it. They're also doing a show on the 4th of July. We should mention as well. It's called Backyard Wrestling 2. They did not officially say the location of this because this is going to be kind of an invite-only type thing. So this will not be. It won't be attended by fans in the same way that the World on GCW Part 2.
It'll be streamed though, and that show was over like a motherfucker with people last year. So, was it last year or the year before?
No, it was last year, I believe. I believe last year.
Wasn't Marco Stunt on that? How could it have been last year? Dynamite hadn't started yet, I guess.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. I don't remember when it was. Yeah, I don't remember when it was.
Weren't the Stunt brothers on there? On that show? I'm almost positive. Maybe they were still taking. Maybe he was still taking indie book. Does he still take indie bookings? Like
yeah,
Janela?
So it was July 4th, 2019. So yeah, they were still taking some.
Okay.
Janela was on that show too. Well, sorry, Kid Suicide was on that show. So,
yeah.
Because they all they all took over like terrible, indie or shitty backyard wrestling, gimmicks and stuff too. Hard ass Nick and stuff. So that was kind of cool. So.
I mean, Janela's still basically a GCW regular,
right? He's just a.
I mean, he's just, they're letting him do that. So, which is cool. I mean, you work 1 day a week, your travel, you got to throw the travel days in there, but your weekends are still free, and it's like, I think that's good because he's important to Game Changer, and Game Changer is very important to the indie scene. So it's a good thing that he's still allowed to work those shows. But anyway, it's good to see indie wrestling coming back. And I see some other promoters talking about booking wrestlers again. So that leaves us with about 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's plenty of time to
Can I set it up now?
I think you can set it, and I believe we're going to have the music as well. So the people in the live chat, let us know if you can hear this music. For everybody else, I'll be able to edit it into the if it does not work here, I'll be able to edit it into the post show. But we're going to try. So Joe, when you are ready, take it away. Well,
the free edition, they'll have the music, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But you're saying the people listening now might get the
They
music.
might. I'm going to try it. We're going to see.
Oh, this could be a fucking
We're going
disaster.
tech. Yeah,
This
we're
is
going
third
tech. We're
hour,
going
baby.
high tech. Oh, we're going high tech here. Let's go.
This is a fucking third hour. This is the equivalent of me talking about Tinder hookups. Just an absolute train wreck. Just a total fucking train wreck. But Rich, are you ready to go bouncing around Japan? And we start with All Japan Pro Wrestling, where, as you have on our run sheet, and I quote, Ashino is that dude, end quote. Rich, I've been watching all of the All Japan, and let me tell you, They have a very interesting schedule now on the AllJapan.tv. Every Wednesday, they run a single match show, right? And then it sets up either the following Wednesday's single match show or like a once per week, roughly, regular show with 5 or 6 matches. They have killed the no fan format in All Japan. They have found a rhythm. There's a couple shows a week that you can watch now between the Wednesday single match stuff and then the longer shows. And it's almost been like episodic. It's been like serial wrestling in All Japan, which is really cool.
It's got numbers, broadcast number 5, broadcast number 6. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's easy to follow. I like this better than their normal format. I have to be completely honest. They're doing more backstage stuff, but they're not overdoing it. Like, for example, Ashino and Arashi won a tag against Zeus and Izanagi back on May 31st. And Ashino stormed to the back and stormed into some back room to challenge Suwama to his face. And Suwama was just making this face like, I can't believe the audacity of this guy. And Yusuke Okada is behind Suwama, kind of like, the fiery youngster, like balling up his fist.
Yeah,
like,
let me at him, let me at him, boss. And he's like, no, not now.
Yeah.
Right.
And it totally set up the match that I think you watched, right? You watched Shotaro Ashino and Kuma Arashi defeat Suwama and Yusuke Okada. And Enfants Terribles, that's a horrible pronunciation.
It's not great, but that's fine. We'll go with it. I like it.
They have just come in like a fucking firestorm. They are undefeated. That's not true. I think Kodama has lost it. Kodama has formed an unlikely relationship with Black Menso Ray. They have formed a tag team, Rich. I know you're not aware of this because you only watched that one match. And they've become friends. Now, Black Menso Ray is not part of Enfants Terribles officially, but he's been teaming with Kodama on some undercards, and they're doing some comedy stuff and whatnot. But I think he lost the tag match with Black Menso Ray. But the mainline Enfants Terribles have not lost the match yet. Ashino is undefeated, and it looks like they're setting up a Triple Crown match against Suwama with that tag. And I am all about Ashino winning that match.
He's got to fucking win it, dude. Yeah, and that's why I said he's like that man. Like, I've always thought Ashino was great. Like, on this podcast, I'm a huge fan of him. We've talked about how we think he's gonna be a star. We think he is a star. We think he's got this aura, this presence, all this sort of stuff. You see him coming into All Japan, and dude, like, he's so much better than like your Jake Lees and these. You know what I mean? Like, instantly, it's like, yeah, dude, this guy's fucking great. This is a star. This is a guy you can build around. This is a guy that should have that championship. And yeah, I'm all in favor of it. I think it's the best move possible to have him win that title. Make that invasion, the invasion story they're doing right now, really give it some juice with him winning that title. And yeah, they've got a star, man. They got a main event star.
Rich, his confidence is through the... He comes across... Go ahead.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like the minute the song starts, you're like, this guy's a fucking ass kicker. And he goes out there and he kicks asses. You know what I mean? He looks like $1 million. He acts like $1 million. He wrestles like $1 million. It's like, they got to start. And we've been saying it. And like, I know you weren't sure, hey, how's he going to fit size-wise? Dude, fits like a fucking glove, man. This guy's a star.
I have my doubts. I've been proven wrong. He fits in. The size hasn't been an issue. He comes across like a star. He comes across like he has a ton of confidence. And the push is perfect. This is how you push somebody. You bring them in, and they win all of their fucking matches.
It's so hard. It's so difficult to figure out, Joe. How do I get these people over? All right. He comes in, he wins matches. Interesting.
And look at the steps. They come in and they beat the Omoris. They beat Takeo Omori and Hokuto Omori, right? Undercard guys to establish them. Then he steps up to Jake Lee and Jin, right? Or J-I-N. Do you say Jin or do you say J? I don't know how to say that group. Jin. Okay. He steps up to Jake Lee, and then they beat Jake Lee and Iwamoto twice in a row. He beats him once with Arashi, and he beats him the second time with Kodama, right? Then they bounce over to Miyahara and Akira Francesco, and Ashino and Arashi beat those guys. So now they're beating like the All Japan home army. Then Zeus steps up to him, and you're like, oh, shit's getting real.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to beat Zeus. They've had fun now, but this is Zeus.
It's fucking Zeus, right? So now they're in there with Purple Haze, with other heels. And Ashino and Arashi beat them too. Of course, Izanagi takes the fall, but then they beat Purple Haze. And then, like I said, he marches to the back. The camera follows him. He gets in Suwama's face, and he says, get in the ring, motherfucker. we're doing this. And then they beat them in a tag on the next show. This all fucking rules. And Kodama and Arashi have been just as, well, not just as good, but they've been as good as you can expect them to be. I've really been impressed with Kodama. Really impressed. He's wrestled some singles matches. He beat Yusuke Okada right out of the gate, which told me right there, they're pushing these guys.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. Yeah, it's added so much juice and so much energy to All Japan. It's just an infusion of 3 great talents, 2, one star and a good mid-card guy, a good upper mid-card guy. It's a blessing. A junior. What a blessing for All Japan to just get these guys. And we said it at the time, like, yeah, it sucks Wrestle One's dying, but some of these other companies are going to get rewarded greatly. And so far, I think All Japan has been, far and away rewarded the best in post, Wrestle One.
Yeah, we'll see what Daike Inaba does in Noah, because he popped up in Noah, which makes sense because he's got the connection with the Duprees.
Sure, right.
And Rene Dupree is there now, and he has the connection with Muto, who popped up in Noah, who has been popping up in Noah. He's tied in with Muto and the Duprees. So he was trained, I think, by Rene and Emile Dupree through the Muta connection. So I kind of figured he would pop up there, and he did. I don't think he's wrestled yet, and then we'll see where the other guys fall. But Inaba and Ashino obviously were the big chips. And I guess the rest are just going to follow Kaz Hayashi into this new project with Ledette, which no one needs this, Rich.
No. I admire Japan having this thing where, like, guys have to form their own companies all the time, but nobody in the universe is asking for a new Kaz Hayashi Ledette, produce company.
We're getting Wrestle 1 without Ashino and Inaba.
Wrestle 2. Who get excited? Let's go. Yeah.
Without the 2 guys with any fucking juice.
Right.
And it's like, without the so it's like, and Wrestle 1 didn't draw. Why is this new company going to draw without those 2 guys? It's going to fail. But it's like, if someone's going to give you money to do this, then they're going to do it. If you find a money mark, then the cycle is going to continue. Where I would rather see all these guys, Shuji Kondo and Hayashi and Andy Wu and the Pantera, all these guys, I'd rather see them dissipate and beef up these other promotions rather than just do this bullshit all over again. And when it's inevitably going to fail. But yeah, this has worked out way better than I thought it ever could. Ashino needs to beat Suwama, and they need to have Miyahara chase Ashino. That's what you do when the fans come back. You have Miyahara chase Ashino. Now, you never know. They haven't been in front of fans yet, but I have a feeling he's going to be over just fine in front of
fans. I can't imagine that he's not. I just can't. I literally cannot imagine that he's not over, in terms of fans. I mean, watching it, there's people in our chat room I know that have been saying, like, oh, I haven't been watching All Japan lately. Go watch All Japan. It has been fucking fantastic. And like I said, they're easy watches. You click the video and boom, you're there. Like that. Let's go. It's been really exciting how they've and we said it weeks ago. They, I think, have transitioned better to Empty Arena than almost any other company in the entire world. I might put them number 1. Yeah.
I'd put AEW.
Or AEW number 1. AEW number 1. All Japan number 2. I'd say.
That's how I would put it. Yeah. And number 3 is a toss-up. You can go a bunch of different directions, but I might go 0-1 or 2AW because it's not a drastic departure.
Yeah, 2AW is pretty seamless. Yeah.
Feels the same, but yeah, that's what they need to do, and I'm very hyped about it. And yeah, a huge recommendation. I'm totally caught up. I watched it all like in a day and a half. I just fucking tore through it all. But let's see. We've got a couple more topics to get to and only a couple more minutes, but I think that was the long one, which is why I squeezed it in first. Rich, I did not watch it. Do you want to tell me about Eita winning the King of Gate over Naruki Doi?
Yeah, so Eita gets the big win over Naruki Doi. A lot of people had expected that Naruki Doi might, at least make the finals and might win the whole thing. Eita gets the big win. Kind of I'd say a semi-ish surprising win. A pretty good match. I wouldn't say like a great match. It's kind of been the King of the Gate rub this entire year. Like, I don't think it's like a match that you need to drop everything and go watch immediately, but pretty damn good action, pretty fun action, and a big moment for Eita as well. I think he was in the finals the prior year. King of Gate lost. This year he comes back, he wins it. He's got a little bit more confidence. He's feeling himself a little bit more. So really good. I mean, a huge moment for Eita, a big, a building moment for Eita. So I will say Case Lowe did a great job in a review as well. VoiceWrestling.com talks a little bit. It gives you a lot of background of Eita's career too. If you're kind of wondering, hey, what's the deal with Eita? Where'd he come from? All that sort of stuff. He breaks it down in excruciatingly great detail as well there at VoiceWrestling.com. But yeah, really, really good final. Again, not a match that I think is going to be like match of the year. I don't think you have to drop everything to watch, but a solid enough match. And cool to see Eita really feel like a big-time star for, I'd say, pretty much the first time in his career so far. He's been little by little moving up the ladder. This is the first time it really felt like, okay, they might have something with this guy. This guy might be something. So good stuff there. Ultimately, the tournament, I've seen, I think, all the tournament matches. I would say a tremendous disappointment from what I expected it was going to be, and from what Dragon Gate was doing with empty arenas before. Just not that much energy. A lot of matches that didn't really land to that level. I think they finished out on a good note. They finished out with some good matches, but yeah, I can't say that I wasn't disappointed by King of the Gate, because I absolutely was. I had really high hopes for Dragon Gate's empty arena tournament. It just didn't land with me. But the main event's solid enough, so you should definitely check it out if you get a chance. So.
I will watch it. I just didn't squeeze it in before the show. Dragon Gate hardcores are down on Eita. I am not. I enjoy his heel stuff. But I'll check out the final and see what I think myself as we bounce over to the 2AW Square, where we've been watching a lot of matches from a lot of companies as they use that little 2AW building for 2AW. In the match I was pumped up for, Chris Weiss defending the 0-1 heavyweight title against Hartley Jackson. Rich, I don't believe you watched.
I have not. Yeah, I have not seen that. Yeah, so you're going to have to let me know what happened.
It's a good 2-hour show with nothing skippable. I'm telling you. This is a great time burner this weekend if you got nothing else to watch. I'll start with the main event. We got to go quickly, and we got one more company to get to. Chris Weiss defending against Hartley Jackson, the Australians going at it. I was pumped for this because I thought the booking was very good to build to this match, with Hartley Jackson returning as a surprise at the anniversary show and then challenging Chris Weiss as his first challenger here. Rich, are you familiar with a typical 0-1 World Heavyweight title match?
Yeah.
Two big guys clubbering each other.
Long, yeah. It's like 19 minutes to 25 minutes usually, yeah.
Not too long. They usually rein it in a little, and it's kind of like miniature Big Japan Strong matches in a way.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Dollar Store Big Japan Strong is basically 0-1, yeah.
That's what you're getting here. These two guys went in there, they pounded each other. But I see it as a positive. You see it as a negative. I see it as a positive. Look, when I'm watching a company like 0-1, I don't need them mimicking New Japan and going out there and doing 35 minutes. You give me a 17-minute Chris Weiss, Hartley Jackson. Do you really want more than 17 minutes?
Not really, no. I really don't.
It was very good. I mean, it's not in the notebook or anything, but I would say a solid 3.5, 3.25 star match where they beat the living shit out of each other. And Chris Weiss retains the title. So we'll see the next step in Chris Weiss's title reign, which with no fans, fuck it, why not give him a shot on top on 0-1? But Rich, that was not the highlight of this show. There were two matches that, dare I say, are must see. Number one is Shinjiro Otani defeating Satsuki Nagao, a rookie making his debut. Rich, he beat the living shit.
Yes, I love it.
Beat the living shit out of this young boy, and the young boy fought back and was slapping him in the face and going, Rich, go out of your way to watch.
Oh, he wasn't happy to make a moment with Shinjiro Otani?
And you know what? You've been looking at my tweets.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you set me up, because I wasn't even going to bring that up. Because Nagao loses the match, and is he happy? Is he saying he made a moment? No. He's in the ring with his face in his hands, and he's disappointed. He's pounding the mat with his fist.
He's not bowing and saying, "Thank you, sir, for giving me that match. My moment has been created." Yes.
I mean, he bowed to him after he showed that he was pissed off, but he showed respect.
Well, yeah, a little respect is fine, but yeah, you got to be a little upset too.
Yeah, I'm sure the guy fucking had a hand in training him, or flat out train him, but he was so disappointed that he didn't win his debut match against what essentially is a Japanese junior legend. And they slapped the shit out of each other. And, of course, Otani.
I'm interested.
A typical veteran versus young boy, where the veteran takes a little bit of a beating, but you know when the line is crossed and he's had enough, and then he just beats the shit out of the kid. So, excellent match. Now, the semi-main event, Tawa Iwazaki versus Yuka Miyamoto, they went to a time limit draw. This is notebook material. This was awesome. I know you're looking at this and thinking 30-minute time limit draw in that little empty building, no fans, two wrestlers who can come across a little dry sometimes, but these are good workers, and they worked a very smart match. I'm not going to give away the story of the match, but I highly recommend this. I'm going 4 stars flat on Tawa Iwazaki versus Yuka Miyamoto in the time limit draw. And then the rest of the card was watchable too. There's a big angle with our boys Sugi and Raicho. We've talked about Sugi and Raicho before. They were in a tag match here, Rich, and the lights went off.
Uh-oh.
You know what that means?
Sandman.
Sabu.
Sabu, yeah.
No Sabu, though. I always think it's going to be Sabu. I think it's going to be Sabu every time, and it's not Sabu. I won't give away who it was, but that match ended in no contest because 2 guys came out and beat the living shit out of those 2. So, and then there was a nice little tag with Masato Tanaka and Yuji Hino versus Kohei Sato and Shoki Kitamura. You could imagine.
Yeah, it sounds up my alley, too. So it sounds like a hell of a show. I might watch it.
It's a good show, I'm telling you. Solid 2-hour show where you can watch the whole thing and not skip anything. But what we are going to skip now is skip over to 2AW, and I'm going to kick it back to Rich. I have not watched this yet. Rich, our boys, Chango and Kaiji Tomato, the dream is over.
The dream is over. We're going to go back to 2AW Square, Joe. Who knew that so much, the epicenter of wrestling, 2AW Square, over these last 3 months. So, we'll wave goodbye to 2AW Square for a little bit as some other people leave. But Chango and Kaiji Tomato have fallen. They have lost the 2AW tag team titles. Ayumu Honda and Taishi Takizawa defeat them. Nefarious means they had to cheat to do it. They had to distract a referee. Oh, it's just, it was tragic, Joe. Kaiji Tomato and Chango, so disappointed. But, God, they went 27 minutes, so it sounds long. But these guys are so fucking good. It was great. It was so good. It never at any point felt like a 30-minute match. I mean, bouncing all over the ring, fast action. Chango and Kaiji Tomato, again, like, they're legitimately, they're the tag team of the year. Honestly, I think I'm there.
Putting them number 1. You're putting them number 1.
I think I am. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the year goes. They're probably going to get passed by a few people. But right now, man, every time I watch them, I'm never disappointed. And I give a lot of value to like how you appear as a team and how you work as a team and that sort of stuff. And like we said, we've been saying the prior weeks, like they just bounce all over the ring, they tag at the right time. They're just in perfect lockstep, and it's so awesome to see. But yeah, Honda and Takizawa beat them here. As I said, very nefarious. They needed to cheat to win. So I have a feeling Chango and Kaiji are going to get another shot at those titles. Are they going to win them again? I don't know. But this reign will go down in history, and it has helped us through one of the dark periods in our human history here with this COVID pandemic. But thankfully, Chango and Kaiji Tomato have given us many entertainments. So hopefully this isn't it for those guys. We see them again. But God bless those beautiful men for what they've given us.
I've been an absolute coward with their other 3 matches, and I've gone 3 3/4 all 3 times.
You're probably going to go 3 3/4 on this one again. It's right there again. Yeah, it's like it's not great, but it's good. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you're definitely going to go 3 3/4 again, like an absolute fucking.
Nothing wrong with that though. Nothing wrong with
they can pile those up. We always talk about Susumu piles up 3.5-star matches. Like they're fucking, some people go out there and grab a few 5 stars every single year. Susumu just gets 20 3.5-star to 4-star matches a year, and he's better off for it. So,
hey, you just named them your tag team of the year, and you have not gone notebook on this. You don't the proverbial notebook because you don't keep one. You have not gone notebook with them yet either. So, but you're still calling them your tag team of the year.
Yeah, they just every time out, you're going to get a solid as fuck match out of these 2 guys, and they're super entertaining. And again, like you said, 2AW and 01, like 2AW especially, you don't think that you're watching an empty arena at any point. You're like, I'm watching a trash Japanese indie, and I'm cool with it. Like, it feels fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's enough noise, there's enough going on that it's seamless. So yeah, I definitely recommend people check that match out. You especially need to check it out and see what you think. But yeah, Chango and Kaiji Tomato add another notch to their tag team of the year candidacy, even though they do lose the 2AW, the coveted 2AW tag team titles. So.
We have bounced around Japan. That was a fiery segment.
That was, yeah. Sorry if I was loud. The music was pretty loud in the background. So
I feel like even though I can't hear the music ever, including this time, I know the music's on, and I feel like
the energy. You could feel it.
Yes, yeah. And we always pick up our pace.
Yeah.
And our energy when we do this.
It's great, yeah.
Yeah, we just burn through like an hour and a half of content in 15 minutes in that bouncing around Japan. Just the pace and the energy, and you got to keep it moving. Maybe we should just play bed music for the whole show.
That's true. Yeah, it would infuriate me to no end. But yeah, maybe I could find a way where it plays to the listeners, but not to me. But I don't know. But it did hype me up a little bit. So yeah, maybe it's not the worst idea to play the bed music the entire time.
End the show, Rich.
That's it. So anyway, this has been the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast, patreon.com. /Voices of Wrestling. We also mentioned at voicesofwrestling.com, Case Lowe's King of Gate review, John Carroll's incredible New Japan Cup preview at voicesofwrestling.com. Make sure you check both of those out. That is it for us. Voice of Wrestling Flagship Patreon, patreon.com /Voices of Wrestling. Make sure you do that. For Joe Lanza, I'm Rich Craich. We'll talk to you next time on the Voice of Wrestling Flagship Podcast. Take care. All right.